your
So,
surname was actually...
let's do a quick run around the table of character introductions and what you look like. Start on my left. Also, tell me why or what brought you into Reichbusters.
Okay.
The organization.
Yes. I feel like the default is something along the lines of Nazis destroyed my village, and so I'm here now.
So fuck.
Basically, yeah. But
Is this mostly like an American-run organization, or...
No, it's a joint effort between the Americans and the British.
Yep. I always felt, I don't know, whenever I read through it, I have this very strong feeling of like Doctor Who in terms of the organization that runs it, the Brigadier General that he's always bumping into.
Like UNIT? Yeah.
Yeah, UNIT, that's what it was. I always get that vibe for some reason.
Yeah, an Anglo-American sort of unit organization, right. Military and science kind of put together. But not with the resources of like the United States Army or like the Royal Air Force, but like
Black budget.
black budget shit, yeah.
There are 53 countries that celebrate an independence. About 66 countries, so there are 53 days of the year where someone is celebrating independence from the British Empire.
Yeah. I remember
Sounds
seeing
about
that.
right.
Damn.
I wonder how many of those actually overlap, or are they all...
Well,
chose
there are
unique
66 total countries. There are 53 separate days.
things? Okay, so there's some overlap. There's like 5 overlap.
Okay.
This is what I do at work.
So,
I just heard a great thing of the Irish people
Hold
invaded
on.
Canada. And they did awful.
okay. So, my character's name is Marrakesh, Maracay.
What was it?
Marrakesh.
CAYA?
Maracaya. Her last name is Orehita. Orehita, which is, I have no idea if I actually got the syntax of this right, but near as I can guess, that's how you would say little ear in Spanish.
That makes sense.
It's a surname; it doesn't have to be correct.
From a different plane of reality. Fuck it. You know?
And she's a catfolk. I'm kind of rolling with almost your standard Khajiit template, where there's like a specific type of wildcat that they're very obviously like modeled after.
Mm-hmm.
For her, I went with a margay, which is like an ocelot but smaller.
Yeah. Kind of like neat.
Do you have wares?
Only if you have coin.
Oh, okay. What about moon sugar? That's
Yes.
You will be arrested at some point in time during this adventure.
Khajiit has no idea what these are.
Alright, jokes aside.
I figure that the home shard that she's from was largely populated by catfolk, and it used to be pretty technologically advanced. And then, of course, the Nazis got wind of this, and they they came over, tried to take what we have, effectively destabilized everything, and now everyone's living in sort of Horizon Zero Dawn conditions.
Society's fallen apart. They don't really understand how all of this technology works, but they still use it.
Yeah.
Semi-shamanistic. Alright. Rachel.
My character's name is Ellis Strowler. Elis.
Strowler?
Yep. It's because I just totally made up that last name.
Spell it again.
Strowler.
Yep.
Got it.
She is a female mouse folk. I don't remember the fancy name that Stephen used.
Just the Latin, I think it's Miraday.
Weird, sure. She has black fur and yellow eyes. She's tiny, as you would suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And
How
wears... I mean, not that tiny. She's like probably...
Like a halfling?
halfling size, you know what I
It's
mean?
like 3 to 4 feet tall.
Yeah,
Okay.
smaller. She wears all black, trench coat and helmet. She was away at like her home shards version of a university when the Nazis came essentially and just wiped the fuck out of everybody. And so she went home on holiday and like no one was there anymore. So but,
Vengeance.
I just got like, what the fuck, man? Just
Just
came
relax.
home for like Mouse Christmas and everyone's dead.
Mousemas.
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 So I mean, yeah,
Christmas.
she's pretty young, but you know,
Chris Mouse?
she left she was pretty smart, so she like finished university and left kind of early and went to join the Reichbusters. Cause fuck Nazis.
Hell yeah.
All right. We have Mauthib. M-A-U apostrophe
M-A-U.
T-H-I-B. Yeah.
Is it a Dune thing that you're channeling?
It kind
No,
of
this
feels
was
like it,
actually
though.
I looked up a name generator from the Predator universe.
Nice.
Does sound very
Their
Dune-esque though.
species.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, a lot of the Dune also took like a lot of the Arabic kind of
That's true.
style.
That's probably what's coming
Heavy inspiration.
Muad'Dib.
Muad'Dib is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So he is Mao is a large person. We're talking like 6'8", 320 pounds. This is just a set person. He always has his breathable mask on.
Perfect high bite.
Darker skin. Again, very combat-focused culture, trying to
So when you say darker, are you saying like darker human skin tone, or are you
Darker,
going like
like-
darker green skin tone?
darker green,
Cool. Okay.
darker green skin
Like
tone.
Elphaba green.
And he is currently involved with the Reichbusters because in our culture you have to have shown your prowess in combat before you can, I guess, achieve manhood, so to speak. And he kind of wants to get a mate, so...
I like it.
what better way to traverse dimensions fighting Nazis?
You will
Yeah.
come. You do you collect Nazi skulls? Is that a thing?
Well, it's kind of a trust system. You mark yourself for every kill you get, so you have to
Ah.
get to a certain...
Certain level of.
And it's a very honor-based culture, so you're not going to lie about that.
Yeah. That would be bad.
It's just not even a consideration.
Unless you learn the finer arts of lying from the Who Man.
We're always screwing things up, aren't we? All right, Lance.
Got Mikhail Petrov.
Not surprised.
Spell please.
M-I-K-H-A-L?
Mikail.
Ooh. Mikhail.
A-I-L.
It's
AI.
close.
What's that last name?
Petrov.
P-E-T-R-O-V?
R-O-V, yep. P-T-R-O-V.
Does he play chess?
What kind of person are you?
Maybe with that wit, yeah.
Whoa. You can repeat that?
What kind of person were you?
What kind of person?
Are you a Therianthrope? Is that what
Oh,
you
yeah,
like?
Therianthrope.
Okay. Okay. Would you qualify yourself as a werewolf?
Or bear.
Werebear?
Fair works.
If
Fantastic.
you want to be a werebear, that's fine.
We made it vague on purpose.
Oh, so I could have been a werebadger, is that what you're telling me? right
Yes.
Well, not you specifically.
Where honey badger confirmed.
now? Fantastic.
Honey badger don't
It's
give
the
no
most
fucks.
stubborn, tenacious thing you've ever met.
That's what we need more of.
And then I will set them against each other. It will be a glorious fight. Where I do no DMing, you just bicker amongst yourselves.
That's the ideal, right? That's the platonic ideal of DM. You let your characters,
Just do it.
players argue.
I just set up the microphone and
Just sit there.
go. Okay, so why are you in Reichbusters?
I think it's supposed to be trying to build relations, maybe I'll bet secretly, between the Russian government of what's left and the British. And
Well, the good thing is this: the timeline matches pretty well with our history's 1950, right? So the Russian government's still doing okay. I mean, obviously they took a big
Because I'm assuming, like, we didn't defeat the Germans.
No, you did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh.
It just so happens that a certain group happened to keep showing up.
Okay.
I should probably.
So like the Hydra kind of thing of like, oh look.
Basically, the Russians swarmed into Berlin late April '45, right? Meanwhile, so they're closing in on the Fuhrer bunker, right, and everything like that. They're ready to take over. Meanwhile, in Poland, in the Owl Mountains, there is an SS Obergruppenführer named Hans Kammler, and a bunch of high-ranking members of the Ahnenerbe and the Russia SG, which are, that's not really important what those particular divisions are, but they're trying to activate Die Glock, which is a bell-shaped Wunderwaffe, or miracle weapon, right? And the Die Glock was supposed to violently disturb Allied and other racially inferior people's physiology on a quantum level, like essentially vaporize them, destroy them on a quantum level, right? So the scientists are working there in this compound in the Owl Mountains, trying to figure out, okay, can we make the thing work? Can we sort of, quote-unquote, lock on to the Russians, right, and wipe out the invasion force in one fell swoop, right? Then Germany can mount sort of a counteroffensive, kind of a counteroffensive, and take, try to change the tide of the war, right? So they activate the bell, right, and nothing seems to happen. And then the following morning, as one of the sort of the guard units has gone up to try to just do the standard routine. We're going to check, go around the perimeter, make sure there aren't any Allied spies or civilians or wild animals causing trouble or whatever. The people inside the compound hear like screaming coming from the surface, and so they go and check out. And this guy is like frozen in terror, staring up at the sky, which is this weird prismatic sort of display where all these obsidian massive shards are hanging in the sky, and through those shards they can each see different versions of different places, like different versions of Earth or strange alien landscapes or whatever. And essentially, long story short, and this is part of like the meta game of the system, right? The overarching narrative. Hans Kammler says, okay, we're in this weird place between realities, right? The scientists basically come to that conclusion, right? And Kammler says, okay, well, we have to assume that Hitler and his people are done. We don't know how to get back there right now. The best thing that we can do, and of course Kammler's own sort of like ego plays into this, we're gonna establish another Reich here in this space between worlds, and we're going to try to figure out how to get into those places and steal their technology, recruit some of the more xenophobic members of their people or whatever, and build up the Nazi war machine so that when we do figure out how to go back, we can swarm in and take the Allies out in an instant, right? Meanwhile, on Earth Prime, a couple of years after the end of the war, it's like 47, 48, right? The members of the OSS, the British Intelligence Service, they end up finding on one of their sort of standard kind of reconnaissance missions in like the Balkans or whatever, a legitimate Nazi squad, like a handful of people with weird like armor and holding like strange weapons and stuff like that, and they're barely able to make it back out alive, while the Nazis just sort of like wink away, they sort of transport away. And they bring that information back to the British government, who shares that with the American government, and then combining forces, they figure out, okay, this whole stuff that we were talking about, spatial relativity and this quantum stuff that people are just like becoming aware of, like, there's more to this. I think some of the Nazis are taking advantage of this technology. They don't know where they are. They don't know, what the extent of the technology is, what their plans are. They just know the war's not over, right? And so they pool their resources and they create this thing, and they go through a couple of years of developing the technology necessary to cross between shards, right? Using a similar kind of method that the Nazis use. They'll occasionally capture a Nazi agent, take their equipment, reverse engineer it. They finally come up with a way to traverse between shards, and then they say, okay, now we're going to go on the offensive. We're going to go to these shards. We're going to find Nazi activity. We're going to stop it, and hopefully, enough operations will go through that we'll be able to find where this is all coming from, right? So in reality, on Earth Prime, 1950 is still 1950. The public doesn't know that we didn't technically win World War II. Everything's fine for them. It proceeds as our natural history already has.
It's gone more Vietnam now.
Right,
Some
yeah,
very-
but like a shadow Vietnam, like nobody's
Yeah.
aware of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so being a Therianthrope, you technically wouldn't be from Earth Prime.
Well, you might.
Because that's what I was thinking. It's like some of these may have been on Earth, just not very well known.
That's
Okay.
that's up to the GM to decide. There's intentionally not right now. Well, part of it is workload, but also part of it is that there's not a lot of lore about Earth Prime because you kind of have to decide at the table what Earth Prime is like. There's some common threads, like pretty much the history of the war is very similar to the history of the actual war. 1950 here in our present reality is a lot like 1950 on Earth Prime, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's some threads there that stay. But if Therianthropes or vampires or whatever exists on our version of Earth Prime as a group, then yeah, then they're not even from other shards. They're just a secret, species or whatever already on Earth Prime.
Okay.
So,
Not known.
but
So
those
the choice is yours.
But those shards are in place to kind of as narrative hand waving for whatever kind of creature you wanted to play. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Of course you're a vampire. You come from the shard where everyone's a vampire, or where vampires are the dominant species, or where the cultural notion that we have of vampires, it is actually a reality in that shard, in that version of our Earth. Right. Whatever.
Infinite possibility.
Right. It's a lot like The Strange in that sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
An influence of The Strange, where not necessarily fictional ideas, but just like the sky's the limit in terms of the shards. You could be, in a fantasy realm one session and then another. You're in a post-apocalyptic landscape devastated by like a weird cyber virus, or like, and then you're in a recreation of Alice in Wonderland, and then who knows,
Cool. So, to continue, you were saying you were associating with Reichbusters.
As relations building.
Attaché to Russia.
Yeah, they somehow, maybe through some espionage, that they were doing this thing, hunting the Nazis in other realms, and the Russians were like, "Hey, we know this is going down. You're going to invite us in," and I was sent in.
Here's our man you're inviting in.
Now, do the Reichbusters know about your transformation thing?
I think they had found out some suspicions, because I'm going with the idea of like those women who like held off some of the invasions with like the snipers, just like the lone women just like held off.
The Russian snipers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some fun history
so
to look
I had
into.
survived some like extra coldness, like that was kind of impossible.
Sure,
And-
yeah, by normal human means.
You
So I
are
was trying to
stuck
put
in
two and two
Kamchatka.
together.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you have great survivability. It's like, yeah.
And so at this point,
Exceptional.
the organization thinks you're like some weird genetic abnormality in the vein of like, a mutant, rather than a member of a greater race of Therianthropes or whatever, right? Yeah.
Secret aware people.
Or if you haven't disabused them of that notion that you're actually from another shard, like, oh, I'm from a different Russia.
A Russia filled with nothing but bear people. Cool.
So normal Russia.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right,
Robert.
So, do you
Russia,
want
bear
vampires
raise
to
you.
exist in Earth Prime?
I got no problem with it. I like the idea. It's one of my favorite elements of a lot of that fiction is the idea that werewolves, vampires have found a way to hide amongst society and don't let the normies know. So yes.
So,
Normies.
Because there's a couple different ways I could spin this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Her name is Elsa Van Eisen. Elsa von Eisen.
Ilsa or Elsa?
Elsa.
And then VON.
ELSA?
ELSA.
Yes.
VON.
So from, and then EISEN?
Yeah.
So Elsa from Iron. Nice.
Wait, what was it?
Eisen. EISEN. Which is German for iron.
Which is, I believe, also a city in Germany.
Is that right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably a city well known for its iron.
That was ice.
Let me double check my.
I think that was ice. Because ice is water, right?
Eisen.
Or ice cream.
Iron. Yeah.
Is it iron?
Yeah. German
Yes.
for iron. And is a common surname. Very cool.
You need to text my wife and let her know you extracted your R. You don't convert it.
Okay. She is a vampire. She's 327 years old.
Nice.
She actually fought in the war as a resistance fighter.
As
Nice.
one does.
Because the first call to arms for her was she did not like the fact that the Nazis thought of women as, or Aryan women, as obedient broodmares. So that kind of posed a problem for her, since her physical description is Aryan goddess.
Okay.
Blonde hair, blue eyed.
Yeah, she's about 6 foot tall and 150 pounds, and
Jesus.
just
Tiny.
after the war, she kind of learned about this and wanted to keep fighting.
Sounds like a Jewish friend of mine I had in high school.
She was a vampire?
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, she was
Super
she was Jewish of German heritage and very like kind of classically German beauty.
Going to suck your blood, but I'm going to be very apologetic about it. Sorry I'm doing this, but I need it.
All right, Jason.
Okay, I am playing Lan/C/Lot.
Nice.
I am an quote-unquote male Auton from the home shard Camelot 404.
Fantastic. In case you're wondering who wrote this.
I
God, I love this.
I arrived on Earth Prime, via some kind of weird quantum wormhole. I had been sent by the king to crusade against this sort of great evil, which we had detected with our ancient machines, was starting to affect greater reality, and so they sent me to Earth Prime to start there. It was only later that, of course, they pick up that information. The Reichbusters go, okay, there's a weird
Machine gun.
there's a weird wormhole that showed up in France all of a sudden. You're like, we need to go check that out. And so it ends up being this 5'11", 200-pound knight in armor, basically. But there's nothing in the armor but gears and
Your
sprockets.
Alphonse over.
Yes.
Yeah, in a way. except that I have changeable faceplates, so that
Nice.
I can
Fantastic.
express different emotions, basically.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I need to reply to that.
A 4/4 face not found.
Do I need to get you some paper plates?
No. So I'm literally carrying around I have gauntlets on.
All,
I have a
all your
long
slots
sword,
are for
breastplate,
faces.
a metal shield,
Nice.
literally walking around like an Arthurian knight.
All of you are so big, and I am so tiny.
I'm 5'1".
Yes. Okay, good.
She's only 5'11".
Yeah, but you're like 6'8". You're like 6 feet tall. I'm assuming if you're a werebear, you're also quite large.
I thought about making her
Oh,
small eyes.
while I'm a hybrid, maybe.
Just be a very small human.
Are you like 5'4", and then you turn into a werebear and you're just like,
Like,
You're like
large.
literally 8 foot when you shift.
Your pants turn into shorts.
okay.
Stretchy purple pants.
You put on sunglasses and you
Except
lose like 4
they're
inches.
jeans, so they become jorts.
No. Fashion faux pas.
I thought about making her smaller because Margates are like the size of house cats, but I figured she needs to be not super tiny to wield the kind of weapon she's using.
That's true.
And it seems that these
They
are
can
meant to
always
be
go
used,
anime on
not
it.
hoarded.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
The
I'm
guns
not.
are
I'm
larger
like.
than them.
I'm somewhat picturing Ruby from Ruby, the tiny 15-year-old girl with a giant scythe.
scythe.
That's like twice as big as she
And
is.
that's what you're using?
It-
This is scythe?
It's not that big, but yeah, she's using
But-
a scythe.
Yeah.
Sort of travel scythe.
Like, I'm imagining
It's just
Grim
for mowing
Fandango
lawns.
I think
just
it's
like
like-
opens up.
Yeah, I was thinking it probably folds up.
I love the Grim Fandango sky.
We've been playing that
Yeah.
recently.
Been watching her play that.
Who's a chauffeur?
Oh, Glottis.
Glottis.
Yeah.
Glottis
Yeah.
is the best,
I
man.
love Gladys. Loves his car.
So am I correct in thinking these are meant to be used? They don't roll over
So
between
that
sessions?
explains, as we're sort of going into the actual gameplay right now, the poker chip that I've given you represents the Buster Point, right? And every session you get one, right?
Cool.
And you can spend them to do any of the things that are listed in that little box on the bottom right of the sheet. One thing to note about the top option, add 6 to a single roll, that couldn't fit in the text down there, is that you have to do it before you roll. It's not an after the fact thing. It's like, I know this roll is going to be important.
So I want to be sure that I...
It's not the before it's been decided
Can you add it to a damage
when
roll?
it's rolled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any roll, as long as it's before you roll, like, I want to make this extra damage hurt. And like, I'm going to want this attack to really hurt. I'm going to add 6 on top of that.
So I'm going to do
And then you roll your damage, and then you figure it out.
46 plus 8 damage. Because why? I want you to die. Okay.
Yes.
Well, basically, instead of thinking it like that, because that kind of muddles the pip thing, it's you would just roll for damage and then add 6 on top of that.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, and then you get one to start off with, period, every session, and you can bank these if you want. If you don't want to spend it, you don't have to. You keep a hold of it, and that'll carry over to the next session. You may start with one and then get another one, so you have 2.
Okay.
Obviously, you're encouraged to spend them. But if a knock, causes you trouble, specifically if it directly influences the narrative or action, either described by the GM or the players or some conversation thereof, you'll get another Buster Point for your trouble. But that only happens once per knock per session. Right? So, though you start with one, you have opportunities through your knocks to gain more of them during play, so that you don't always just have the one shot. Right? It's pretty similar if you've ever played like a D6 dice pool system. Like you roll that amount of dice, add the numbers together, add any pips or like extra just flat numbers or whatever. And you're given a total, and then that total will be compared to a target number. The GM, in this case Stephen, will decide, depending on how easy or hard it is, right? And if it's equal to or above the target number, you did it, right?
Cool.
Now, one of those dice, right, is different, right? It's called the wild die.
Mhm.
Now, the wild die is one that can explode, right? So if you roll a 6, you get to pick it up, roll it again, and if you roll 6 again, you get to pick it up and roll it again, and you're adding those numbers each and every time, right? So it doesn't explode in the traditional sense. If you roll a 1 on that die, it's still added to the rest of the result to figure out whether you succeeded or failed. But it adds a wrinkle to the narrative. These things occur even if the roll is successful. Right?
Okay.
It's not a fail state. It's just like something weird or unfortunate happened despite whether or not you succeeded or failed.
And does that threat continue to stand? Let's say I explode, and then roll a 1.
Yes.
Okay.
But you don't have to explode if you don't want to.
Yes.
Okay.
You can stop rolling at any time.
Oh, I
you
always
have
take the
the power.
gamble.
Yeah.
Now those
I don't have the power.
those wrinkles, accordingly, they never directly negate the action that you tried to do.
If you run out of ammo, it happens after you kill the Nazi or shoot the Nazi.
Right. So it's like success with a cost from the Powered by the Apocalypse games. That's the closest comparison of that.
Cool.
In the case of opposed rolls, the greater result wins. If that doesn't solve things, you're looking at the wild die from like just sort of chance kind of perspective. And if that doesn't solve things, take a look at your attributes and skills. And if that doesn't solve things, just fucking roll with it. You know.
Out in the parking lot,
Yellow cards.
bare knuckle boxing,
Yeah.
winner take all.
And that's how
IRL.
that's how the basic that's how the basic sort of task resolution thing works. Right. I want to do engineering to try to figure out this this mechanical device. I'm going to roll my dice. Stephen might say that's
Mossic. That's difficult. Moderate.
difficult, right? I'll roll my 4D. I'll get 12.
Just made it.
There you go. See.
Cool.
Okay. And then we'll talk about combat when we actually get into it.
Won't take long.
You lose days.
We have 3 M's and 2 E's for our characters, just saying.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jason's different.
Right, could I get a spelling on your name again? I think I got it wrong.
A spelling, not the right one. But A,
Yes. Yes,
A spelling for
A1.
It's a
you.
variant.
MARACAYA.
When all fails, put an A.
Yeah.
Why? I put an R
It's the
at the end instead.
it's one of the local Spanish names for Marques, except it's usually an accent mark on the last A. So slightly bastardized. Also in where is it? In Bolivia, they are known as ocelotls.
Ocelotls.
Because they're ocelots but smaller.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bolivia. The entire country,
country.
of Bolivia.
Now, is that translated
I don't think
from
Bolivia.
like Bolivian or like?
Actually has a country.
They literally called them ocelots.
I'm looking at
I want it to be both.
I'm looking at the list of subspecies on Wikipedia, and the one for Bolivia says Leopardus weedi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Boliviae, and then it says also known as the ocelotl in quotes next to it.
So that's probably a Western,
Western
like a Northwestern.
Translation.
Well, no, not even that. It might just be like a designation for the creature that's found in Bolivia or whatever. Yeah.
It's found all
Western
throughout
Equator.
like Central and then South
South America.
America, but
Yeah.
that's just in Bolivia specifically. I guess they call it the ocelotl.
Adorable.
All right. Meanwhile, in the special projects bunker,
Super best friends one.
I mean, you can think of it that way if you'd like to. You all find yourselves sitting in a briefing room. It's very much so a movie theater style seating. It's got a projector in the back, which is currently off. The lights are on, and a man with a bum right leg and a cane makes his way to the center of the stage and looks at the lot of you.
It's a Nazi, kill it!
We've been infiltrated. I'm retired Brigadier General Benjamin Armstrong. I'm your project commander in this Reichbusters activity. One of our agents, Sean Bennett, returned from Shard XM 972A21, dying. On his dying breath, he shared the following words. Nazis, one wish, the return of Hitler. Now, there is a lot of speculation that we have about these, but taking him at face value, the Nazis may have found some way to fulfill a wish. And that wish is going to be the return of the very man himself. Now, Sean Bennett brought back with him some documents that we have gone through, and we've been able to find bits and pieces of information. The Thule Society, that you may or may not be familiar with. One of their members, Kai Eisner, he is a SS Gruppenführer, or lieutenant, seems to be associated with the actions in that shard. Now, what we know about lieutenants is in the German army, they are usually tasked with between 15 to 45 soldiers under their command, so we are expecting he has that many under his control at this moment. We are not 100% sure how he survived the war. He was nowhere near any of the German special projects at the time. But that doesn't matter. We need you to go to the Shard, which Sean Bennett was last alive in, and make sure those Nazis don't get that one wish. Plain and simple. Now, whatever you need, you'll be able to pick up from the armory. Expect to see you there, 0300. Any questions?
What is the shard like?
Very similar to our own, from what we've heard. In fact, he mentioned something about the marketplace he was in. Looked quite a bit like Marrakesh, if you're familiar. Seems to be another Earth quite like ours.
What is the season that will be arriving?
We will be arriving in summer, so pack for very warm weather. All right, if you don't have any other questions, you know where to go. Get to it. He taps his cane on the floor twice and kind of hobbles his way out. Leaving the lot of you together.
Could we have brought in our own weapons, or do we have to get everything from the armory?
Most of your weapons would probably be stored in the armory between
Hitler
missions,
was a horrible
but
leader.
yes, you could go collect them.
So, like, we could
It's
have,
really about
like, I could have a
I mean,
specific weapon that
he
I'm
invaded Russia
keeping in the armory.
in the winter.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's like
It was
a
a terrible.
it's like
It was terrible.
check coats at door,
It's more
but
of
in
a
this
Canasta
case,
thing.
weapons.
like weapon locking. Yeah, it went literally weapon locking.
Yeah, like the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just see
Yeah,
my
like
head pop
Mickey
up
Mouse,
at the
because
word
Mickey Mouse
mouse.
is super racist too, yeah?
No, this is before they knew that.
That's true. It's like the 50s.
Mickey Mouse is A-okay.
That black.
So is Disney. Even back then, they knew blackface was not a good thing to do, but
How do you look at blackface and not know it's a bad thing?
don't.
There was that one, what is it, the one British actor who thought he was super good at it?
Oh, God.
There was only one.
In a perfect world, there would be.
Recent.
I would just go and wait in the shard transport area.
No swing by the armory?
I would already have my things.
Okay. Like, I'm basically saying they do like a check weapons at door kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they might leave you with like a knife, maybe a pistol, but anything bigger
Just
than
for
that.
security purposes.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no, come on. Dude.
I'm bigger than that.
Yeah, you are a weapon.
I would go to the armory and pick up my stuff and then head over. Not really.
See the chair move. I'm not sure you can see me above the table at this point, and just probably hear a mouse walk up.
We need to get you a bigger chair.
Bigger
Just
chair
don't
or-
dare ask me if I want a booster seat.
Do you have any desire to chase her down?
No?
You are a cat.
That's racist.
Well, I guess technically.
That sounds like something a Nazi.
I found the what happened to-
Vampire bloodsuckers, just like Nazis.
Oh my god.
I just go to the
This is
armory
quickly
and get my
becoming a game of
gun.
paranoid.
Everyone's a
Reichbusters
Nazi.
paranoia
No,
edition.
no. See, paranoia can always be every system. You just don't know you're playing it
Exactly.
That is true.
Until it's too late.
until Mr. Computer comes out.
Computer. Yeah. So I will clank down to the armory and receive my blessed longsword, which I gave to them in strictest understanding that they honor it with a high place rather than throwing it into the bin.
Okay, so as you walk in on Hal Jackson, who's kind of the armory quartermaster.
Crushing it.
Currently holding that long sword and taking swings at a dummy,
Oh my god.
I will not be happy about that.
and does not notice your entry.
I will remove my neutral plate and put on my fierce war visage plate.
I'm just standing there going,
furrowed brows plate.
trying to hop over the.
I will begin to clank towards him menacingly.
So he hears the clanking, and it's like the sword's midway through singing, and it just slows down to a soft little tap. He quickly puts it down on the floor in the nice cloth swath that he had it in, quickly bundles it back up, holsts it up, and then clearly takes a breath before turning around. Just flat face.
I believe you have my soul.
Right here.
Excellent. I appreciate your dedication to my command.
Of course, sir.
I'll see you again soon.
Looking forward to it.
It's not in the bottom of the bed.
How many of us? Okay, so how many of us have actually worked together before?
Maybe this is all your first times by the sound of it.
Okay.
At least
like it.
together.
Yeah, you've gone through sort of orientation
Yeah.
and some basic training and stuff like that. Familiarize
Nobody
yourself.
pays
Who's
attention
not
to
on
trainings.
shore leave?
Yeah.
I will give up and just climb on top of the counter and go, "Hi, can I have my gun, please?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Works his way back.
You need a step stool
Over.
out there, something."
Yeah, so we're still getting used to the whole people from all over kind
It's
of
okay.
thing. You kind of get a look at Hal. He's got that kind of 17-year-old U.S. Boy who's clearly been in the army and probably shouldn't have been.
Wow.
Managed
Pretended
to
to be 18 when he's really 14, kind of thing. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Alright.
and is now working the armory. But
Less likely to
In the
die.
super
there.
secret Black Ops division.
yeah, as you do.
Probably had an uncle or something who involved in can get you a job.
Hey, you're not in the front line.
I mean-
That's what I like.
Nepotism is still alive and well.
Oh, yeah. This is the 50s.
Yeah.
Nepotism is alive and well today. So.
Yes. This is the world.
Yes. We do.
Humanity.
This is a world. This is a reality that exists.
I'll take my gun.
Give them hell.
Scurry off.
I also
Not
fetched my shield. Also, I don't imagine that I would
What
have.
kind of gun do you
And just left.
It's just a handgun. I
Well, I'm
didn't
not carrying it.
pick a
on.
particular one. Probably a Derringer or something.
Yeah.
A little gun.
I mean, there's some nice, like, small revolvers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice gun. It's just little.
I would just walk in at first, and I would
That's-
expect, given my cultural experience, I would just wait there and
Pick up,
expect
like,
that he
small
knows
guns.
what I need.
Yeah, you
And I
walk
would
in.
just tower over him and stare. and
He
see
looks
what-
it up. He looks up to you the same way like kids look up to Superman in the pulps. Like you were an Adonis, a god amongst men to this man. Like he
Tiny
wants to
little
be
17.
you when he grows up.
Except
that
he was
he can-
cheating on you. He went with the sword, not the trident.
So that he can also be allergic to oxygen.
See, he didn't touch the trident because he doesn't want to anger this man.
That's true.
He clearly respects him.
Angering
unlike
the robots
higher
okay.
level. Like it's a sword, man. He's gonna have fun with that. Like he's seen the sci-fi pulps. Robots are slow, man. You don't have to worry about that.
It's true.
He may be wrong. We'll see.
I do have an agility of 3D, so and a reflex of 5D.
Damn.
Not a slow robot.
Oh god, I'm picturing like Groot and Rocket in my head now with me and you.
I mean, basically, that's what you've set up.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You're even dark. Oh. Okay. Done.
I'm green, not blue.
I know, but you're dark green. That's good.
Okay.
Requisitioning rifle. Are we going American or are we going back Russian?
Well, I figured you want to try, some of the red, white, and blue stuff. We did make better weapons than you.
I don't know. Is the newest top class rifle, but that's
Look, the thread cutter is a wonderful Russian invention, sure, but you can't go wrong with an M21. Plus, we have way more ammo for it.
we'll take it first. Yes, that is problem. You don't use metrics.
Well, I mean, some of the limeys do, but I stick to stuff that I understand. So here you go.
So not much.
And I walk in, and I just look at him and say, "You know what I'm here for."
He's already blushing.
You do know what I'm here for, right?
It takes him like a second to pop out of his head, where he clearly has been daydreaming. No. Sorry, I forgot.
God damn it!
You don't get
Rifle.
your weapon. Buster
Now.
point.
Right. Heads over. Grabs it. Brings it back. And I'm assuming this is like
A
maybe
sniper.
custom.
Yeah, custom sniper rifle,
Okay.
and it is actually Axis.
Ooh, nice. Collected. I mean, we got plenty of ammo left over since the war, so, knock yourself out.
Right. And dream on, kid. Wait a minute! Don't have any dreams about me at all.
Too late.
That boy's very wet.
Blunt but efficient, I'll take it.
One spirit. No relation.
I've been kind of standing back and observing what all kind of weapons everybody's gathering to just take stock of what we have as a group.
You're watching as, this Hal is literally just leaning on the desk, wistfully staring after Elsa.
Hit him.
Okay, so
That would
she's last to go then, so she'll step up to the desk and
He's 17.
maybe
It's
kind
okay.
of like
He's not ready for
flick her tail like just within his field of view to like get his attention.
It takes a moment, but it works.
Slate purr. Not the happy purr, the impatient purr. Very hard to tell
The
sometimes.
angry purr.
I don't think they do that.
Yes.
I'm here for my Feliformia weapons.
Right. And turns around and collects the bin for you.
Yeah, they've probably got a fairly distinct look to them. Being kind of
Mm-hmm. He's provided you kind of this metal field box,
Yeah.
kind of like a foot locker, effectively, which he keys in a little 3-digit code to, pops the lock, spins it around for you, pops the top open. You can see inside.
So I've got my scythe and my bow. I figure they probably almost look a little Frankenstein-ish, just with the way they've been
Coupled together.
Yeah. No, they don't look like they're gonna like fall apart or anything. But they definitely don't look like they were made in like a factory. Like this looks like something that like was individually like engineered by a single person.
Right.
Crafted.
A
Yeah.
kind of Fallout pipe pistol sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play Fallout again.
The scythe itself actually just kind of fold and unfold for easy carryability.
Is Veda?
They're almost like ruby weapons, except they're not like 3 weapons fused into one. They're just
You'd be paying the weight cost for all of them anyways.
yeah.
I tend to get lost in Fallout for like months at a time.
After you grab your stuff, he closes it and pops it back, kind of chucking it onto the floor.
Thank you.
Well, good luck out there. Give them hell. And as you all start to file into the shard transfer room, you're passing by a woman by the name of Sylvia Meadows. She's the kind of lead gadgeteer for the group, your Q, if you will. As you're walking by, she's providing each of you with this belt contraption that you know is what allows you to actually transition between the shards. She went into detail about how it worked, but does anybody have like a wits of 4 or higher?
Nope.
Or a skill in like quantum mechanics as a knowledge?
I have engineering.
Almost.
Is it? My engineering and wit equals 5. How about that?
Yeah, give me a roll.
Okay.
We'll make this the first.
All right. Let's see
Official.
what happens.
It'll be difficult. You're going for 18.
You
Don't
did
think
not
I'm
get
gonna make
18.
it.
Nope.
15.
Too many ones. She explained it, and you understood bits and pieces of it, but you don't. You understand how it works. You don't understand why it works.
I'll take it. It's fine.
A lot of the theory behind it isn't really there. But
Me using computers.
yeah, you understand the basics of it'll allow you to transition to the other shard and stabilize you while you're there.
Okay.
It also then provides you with the means to make your way back as well. So it's pretty simple transportation device. Kind of your instant recall if need be. The technology is a little bit fiddly though. You've heard of a couple of people who have mid-mission just popped back to Earth Prime. But it's the best they've got right now. So that's what they're working with.
Okay.
So take up a gear spot or
Nope. Just a free belt.
what's the actual name for it?
Do you have a name for the tech?
The actual transporter
Name
belt?
pending.
Mm-hmm.
No, name pending.
Okay, I'll just write transporter belt.
TM. Copyright, do not steal.
We have enough of that going on.
Yeah. The room itself has a large kind of circular pad in the center, and some what looks to be large Tesla coils, and
Beam me up, Scotty.
in a way, odds and ends
We
of
don't have Star Trek in any of our
apparatuses.
universes.
Not yet.
No.
Well, it's 1950. Yeah, it hasn't even premiered yet.
It's what, 15 years or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Don't even have a Doctor Who yet.
Nope, it was 63.
Damn, I gotta
Dark
hurry up.
times. Because I was going to make a joke about Time Lord technology.
Maybe you're from a shard that knows about Time Lords. Maybe Time Lords are real.
I was going to say, there's probably a shard where they actually do
They're just
exist.
like 10 years ahead. They've invented Doctor Who 10 years before.
So it's exactly, it's identical in
The
every
only
respect,
difference. But
but it premiered in 1953 instead.
If we go to a Time Lord shard, I'm not leaving. Just so we're clear.
and
We don't have to worry about that this session.
Okay.
Then you're there when everyone dies.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Excuse me.
You can see a lot of these banks of machinery are kind of warming up. There's this loud drumming sound, a strong mechanical hum and sparks. And Sylvia looks at the lot of you and says, we're still getting it charged up, but when you're ready, please step on the pad and we'll have you transported over to the other shard momentarily.
What's everyone's names before we head out?
Elsa.
Name and Elsa. Name and role, so we know what we're working with.
I kill people, dear.
Okay.
Sylvia pipes up. All of you kill people. You'll have to be a little more specific. Perhaps if one of you has a rank, maybe that's something you could use.
No.
Well,
That's a sniper rifle, isn't it?
Yes.
That's good.
I also punch people real good.
A little bit of everything I see.
Yes.
You look like a puncher. I'm Ellis.
Ellis?
I sneak into things and figure out how things work, and I also shoot people.
That's good.
I might climb on your shoulder. Is it okay if I climb on your shoulder and shoot people from there?
He would take a couple of deep breaths in his chlorine mask, and he takes it off and just...
no.
Are you sure? Because it's a really high vet. I don't think I've ever been up that high.
And he puts his mask back on.
But Master Blast.
You got some kind of breathing condition?
Oh, he's an alien. He can't breathe the oxygen.
I would point my trident toward her and
You
nod.
hear Sylvia piping up in the background. It's actually quite deadly to them. Quite interesting.
Yeah, they have to breathe in like do you have pools here? Are there pools here? You know the stuff you put in pools? They have to breathe that.
I step under the transport pad.
Some people say I talk too much. Should I need to stop talking? I think I'm going to stop talking.
No, I'm just not familiar with the idea.
Sylvia pipes up again. Ellis, I'm looking forward to your return. We have much to talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
What about you two?
Comtiv Mikal, which is Major. That,
Pretty big step down then, working for Reichbusters.
Do you translate that? Because I don't think I speak German.
It's Russian.
Or Russian. See, I really...
She really doesn't speak German.
And I think I'm somewhat insulted by that.
What? That the Russian was German.
So we got what? A
It's all
sniper,
doubly good to me.
a trident, an engineer. What kind of weapon do you use?
Sniper rifle.
2 snipers. Okay.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of smell weird. Like,
What is
Not-
it?
not-
Is it
not
the
human?
vodka or is it
no,
that,
no,
like,
like,
Other than that, apart from that,
That's just aftershave.
Everybody smells weird.
no, like, not human weird?
maybe?
And I see you've got a sword and a shield.
yes, I do. I am the good knight Lancelot. I am here on a quest from my great king to slaughter evil where it stands.
What about windmills? Are you going to attack a windmill?
Wrong one.
That's Don Quixote.
I know
That's
it is.
Spanish.
I know it is.
If you had made a reference to
Black
Where are we going?
no
Beowulf.
Arthur de la Mort or
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah,
I just...
then I would have accepted that.
Your voice just made me think of Don Quixote, sorry.
Right.
Sylvia pipes up for you as well. One of these days, you're going to have to... I would like to examine you. I'm very curious.
Like medical exam, or
Effectively, yes.
it's gonna be lots of probing.
I don't know, Lancelot, are you into that kind of thing?
He's a machine, so yes.
He could be a love machine. Are you a love machine?
I'm afraid I could not let a lady such as yourself examine my naked form without some kind of
Safe word.
relationship.
Very well. I'm sure I can find one of the other male doctors here who would be capable of passing some notes.
Recordings.
A talking machine.
I know, fascinating, isn't it? Well, that's the ding. It's charged, so as soon as you're all ready...
Yes, I'm ready.
It's a literal,
Just
like,
step into the
toaster ding.
Like an egg timer.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the at the
Radiation
beginning
built up.
of meaning of life. Where that's the machine. That thing means your baby's still alive.
What the hell? Well, I'm Marrakesh. I hail from the home shore de Filiformia. Used to be pretty advanced, and then same reason all the rest of you are here. The Nazis happened, so now I have these funky looking weapons, and I'm ready to go get my revenge. Also, if you see anything that looks like this, and she holds up this something she's wearing from a necklace that looks like a little blue glass panel with like faint grid lines on it. That belongs to my family. For reference, in case I didn't describe that well enough, it's solar panel tech.
Okay.
Okay.
Just something to keep in mind.
Yes, dear.
It's going to be good like 40 years before.
That's one of the reasons why they came to our planet.
That green energy.
Yep.
Damn Nazis.
They're probably not actually using it.
Oh no, they definitely use it. They need the power, but they're not
Repurpose
using it for the reasons that we would use it, which would be save the planet. It's literally we can get more power.
Alright, I will just step into the circle and wait to be transported.
Well, how profitable is it?
We all going at the
That's the real
same time,
question.
or
Because if it's genuinely
Step by step?
sustainable, then it's not going to be profitable.
I'm already on the transport. I'm
That's
just
just
waiting
what
for her
people
to
profit.
initiate the.
Yeah, I'm already on there.
didn't know if
Okay.
it was one at a time or
All at
group
once.
rate?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'll hold my long sword aloft. Huzzah! To battle! And clank, clank, clank over there.
Okay.
I just look judgingly at you.
Just in the middle, staring up.
I'm sure there's some Tesla coil activity with the
And it starts arcing and working its way down, and she
We're in a Faraday
throws
cage.
the lever, and then a couple of other levers, and before you know it, you watch as reality effectively like pixelates out, and then turns to dust, and you find yourself standing in a very busy scene of an open-air marketplace. You can see some covered structures nearby made of mosaic tile. There's a lot of sandstone around. The earth around you is a very like deserty dust. It has a very deserty and dusty quality to it. It is, if you've ever seen pictures of Marrakesh, that to a T.
What time of day is it?
It is noon.
God damn it.
It's a little warm.
Yes, it was a little.
So you've got hood up.
What's
Full
that
Assassin's
sizzle?
Creed. Is that bacon?
I mean, he might still be. He might still be sparking from the transporter.
There's probably like a residual grounding shock from the blade.
Yeah.
Old like Terminator style.
So what kind of people are here? How badly are we all going to stick out?
Like tech level.
There's a whole bunch of humans. They seem to be walking around in, I guess more so think like 70s era clothing.
Okay.
A lot of brighter colors, but you're also getting a lot of scarves, turbans, headwear, a lot of desert clothing. But you're seeing technology that makes a lot of sense to you. Nothing seems too far out of place. A lot of the marketplace where you are now seems to be a little bit slower and lazier in the corner you've kind of dropped into. There seems to be a lot of like large jugs of some sort of liquid for sale.
Have they invented sunscreen?
Probably. Poke around, might be able to find it.
Just find some chrome or can't remember what they used.
I mean, there's
Super metallic stuff.
yeah, there's been all sorts of sunscreen through the ages.
You probably have to eat a lot of fish oil to make up for the vitamin D deficiency.
No.
That's why they're always depressed.
I was gonna say something about rickets, but that's really only while you're like in development.
Well, shall we
So we're-
find our Nazis?
So we're seeing just like humans.
Just humans.
Okay.
Regular human people.
Okay. So issue. You're fine. You're fine. Issue. Got it.
Yep. Well, then the Nazis will know we're here. That's
Except it's like really hot out and I'm wearing heavy clothing.
Well, okay, so that's unusual,
Yeah.
but not.
You still look like
might
That's
just
not
have, like,
rad.
a-
You don't have ears.
no. You should buy some local clothes. You know,
It
just
could
get
be-
a
it could be like a
turban
religious
and, you know,
thing.
You just look like a
wear
goth that took the
cover.
wrong turn.
Everyone else is kind of covered because the sun is hot.
That's true, yeah.
You can grab a scarf and wrap it around your head, and you know.
I'm thinking maybe we should have gotten like, I don't know.
They said
different
some of it. I did
clothing
not
to wear
expect
before we
desert.
left.
Well, that's part of the Reichbusters sort of thing. Is like get transported into the shard, improvise,
Figure
adapt.
things out on site.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you literally had all they knew about this shard.
Can we get indoors or something?
Yeah, you see the indoor portion of the marketplace. Plenty of people hustling and bustling in that area, but covered roof.
Over there, look good.
Yeah. What's the door made?
It's wide open.
That's it,
You're
yeah.
you're looking at
Open
like
air.
12 feet across.
Okay,
But just
yeah, I walk
open
right in.
travel space.
And just kind of breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, you're like bumping into people as you go. There's a very clear flow to this. So you've gone over.
I'll go with her.
Okay. As you start going, you get
too.
like side eyes from a lot of people.
I'm trying to like scurry and cling in and out before people see me too quick.
I'll go, but kind of like I don't want to leave the rest of the group either. Like, we should probably stick together.
Stick together, team.
So follow Elsa, I guess.
When we get underneath the tent, I'll take off my trench coat and like look around for like some sort of robe that would cover me more completely and maybe cover my face.
Yeah, you'd be able to find some. There's a female dealer of wares.
Do we have
sitting
any
there.
money for
Looks a
this
little-
realm shard?
Nope. Unless I think a little bit of money, like pocket change, is not. You make a small material change to the environment.
I have money.
There you go. Or something to barter with.
So
that would basically be it. It'd be wouldn't necessarily be like.
It would be like jewels or.
I'm not giving away my trench coat.
spice.
Because
Wouldn't
finding a
be
trench coat
alternate
that's
Marrakesh
really
bucks. It would
Yeah.
just be.
you've
Yeah.
got some reacquired Nazi gold.
Great. I will, buy a robe, basically.
Fine, this sounds
Or I will nudge Elsa.
So
Hey,
It's been a
Will you-
fun thousand.
will you buy me one of those like kid robes over there?
Sure.
Thanks.
So
And I'll like duck behind where no one can see me while she gets it.
I go over and buy her a robe.
So you approach this older woman running a stall, and she
White lady.
looks up at
Super pale.
Ghost.
you. May I help you?
Yes, I'm looking for a robe for my diminutive friend.
Finest silk. And produces a small robe that seems the exact size you're looking for.
Oh, that sounds good. And
Put some gold down. She
Will this do?
takes it, bites it, puts it on a little scale, does a little bit of measuring and weighing, and eventually shaves bits and pieces off of it, provides that in a little jar back to you. That will do. That is good. That is good. Enjoy. Tell your friends.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And I go back to find you.
So the moment you pivot around, you're like, okay, where is the small person in all of this? Well, that should be pretty easy to find. And then everybody hears a ringing of a bell. 5 chimes. And you watch as everybody
Points, 5
except
song.
the 6 of you kneels in a sort of prayer position, leaving the 6 of you standing out like sore thumbs if anybody was actually looking around.
The king approaches.
Can you physically kneel? Out of character, I'm asking.
Oh yeah.
You
no,
do have joints.
I do have joints.
I was
so-
going to say, you probably have to kneel to get knighted.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or
It's
to
required part of the
just
bow
program.
to your king.
It's not necessarily an easy process per se,
Yeah.
because
There's a
how
lot of cranking noises.
how agile is a knight
Yeah.
in armor? Yeah, there's lots of.
You've got
gears.
a winch you hook into your leg.
Yeah.
That'd be too much, I think. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I
The good
can.
news is when everyone else kneels, they're about my height. So I actually don't stick out so much.
So I actually can find you.
Yeah.
I'll
You-
poke my
you
head
s-
out and I'll run up and grab your rope. Thank you.
You manage to find Ellis very quickly, and in fact, as you spot her, as you're looking around, you also notice a group of 4 men in black caps, dark blue uniforms, with MP40s slung across their chests, and a very familiar SS emblazoned on that helmet.
I immediately dropped my knees.
So they're
and
helmets and
everyone's-
not cloth caps or something.
Yeah, full flak helmet.
Okay, got it.
Germans are like, where
I
did you
will-
get this German Nazi gold?
I will drop to my knees where I can still see them approach and watch them.
They're you can spot them 40 yards away. They're kind of making their way around, looking at other stalls. They're making their way down, kind of heading towards you. But as soon as that 5th bell tolls, everybody stands back up. And they're just gone.
The Nazis are just gone.
There's too many people in the
Yeah,
way.
okay.
Oh, you mean not literally?
visually
just
gone.
yes.
Yeah. Can I still
They're
see
lost in the crowd.
Give me perception. And we'll make this. This is fairly easy. You've got a height advantage, so we'll call this an 8.
Oh, I bet I get an 8. Nope.
7.
7. Okay, no, you're having problems picking people out. There's plenty of black caps and steel caps around.
But I'm aware of where they were just in general.
Yeah, like everybody's got a vague feeling of like, yeah, they're like 40 yards that way and they're kind of meandering this way.
I start walking that way.
Okay.
I have my trident in hand because I always do.
Is the architecture like village kind of style, or is it like flat roof, like sandstone?
Yeah, sandstone, adobe buildings, kind of very earthen in its design. Think Raiders, or not Raiders of the Lost Ark. What's the Indiana Jones where he just shoots him?
Oh, yeah, in the marketplace?
Yeah.
That was Raiders.
Yeah, okay,
It
yeah,
was
Raiders.
right? Yeah.
Like, think that kind of setup. There's no, like, satellite TVs or anything like that, no antenna, anything like that. It's just pre that level of technology.
Yeah.
We're just thinking of, is it traversable on those roofs?
Yeah, could we get on the roofs? And
It's open air, and
Oh, yeah.
there's not like bars or anything. So yeah, you could get up there if you want to.
Could someone with better eyes than mine see if they happen to see the bell that was rung?
Yeah, is there like a church tower, or is there like a central?
Yeah, if you look around, you can clearly see like a very tall spire that kind of reminds you of like the bells for Muslims' call of prayer. It's like eerily similar.
Okay.
Having seen the Nazis,
Mm-hmm.
I will, now that everyone has stood up, I will kneel and place my sword into the ground, and I will say a quiet sort of, not a prayer exactly, but a quiet dedication to the king and to all forces of bravery and good. I will then stand and I will take my long sword and I will, holding it sort of aloft. But not forward, like I'm not even, get out of my way. I'm going to make my way towards where the Nazis were.
Oh, shit, this isn't going to go well. I follow.
Okay, so as you start kind of pushing through people, at first there's like a general hubbub around you. People just like, oh, the sword. Oh, okay, hold on. And then you notice like a group of folks kind of gather together in front of you and actually form a wall like 3 people wide. There's clearly some sort of like religious iconography about them. Nothing that really strikes you as memorable per se, but it's heavier robes. They've got this scarf wrapped around the head and another around the neck. All of them are wearing red, and the 3 of them kind of look at you and offer a flat hand out, as if like one was begging for something. But instead they simply say, "We have found peace. We hope that you find the same."
I'll just sort of stop, slightly lower the long sword. My thanks to you, people, for your kind words. Please, step aside so that I may pass and vanquish the evil which has nested in your place.
They give kind of like a polite half bow, and they split like a door, letting you pass.
Okay. I will continue.
Onward!
I just view you like the guy in Rogue Legacy where the sword is just always...
Yes. Oh! Okay, so we've got Muthib and Lancelot heading towards the Nazis.
I'm with him.
Okay.
I'm going to look.
So much.
So Elsa as well.
Is there? I'm going to look around. Is there like a row of buildings that I could get on top of and walk along the top of?
Currently, you're inside of kind of a large open air or large covered market. You could make your way back out and on top of that. It definitely has holes in the roof to allow airflow and sunlight in, if that's what you're looking for. Because the Nazis are inside the same building.
Okay.
So
Because they are in.
yeah, think of it like a shopping mall. Those things we
Sure.
used to have.
Just trying to find a easier way to
It's a
see
bazaar.
Yeah. There you go.
for my shortiness.
I'm thinking like tarped cloth roof, not like
That was
natural.
outside.
That was
Okay.
outside.
Yeah. Yeah, Marrakesh is kind of this mixture of both, where they do have large bazaars, buildings, and structures for it, but they also have just literal wide air open markets of stuff.
I will follow along behind those three, but I will keep an eye out for a better vantage point to scamper up onto.
Okay.
As we go.
Kind of eyeing around a bit, you notice some of the structures people have set up are a little sturdier than others. You could potentially pop up, but it might not be safe to run across.
Sure. Have to pop up and sit.
Yeah. You could make your way across, but it'd definitely be like a traversal check or something.
Okay.
I was thinking about that too, but I think
Well,
she probably weighs too much for that.
I only weigh I'm only 3'8", so I only weigh like 60 or 70 pounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say if anybody can
I'm
pull it
pretty
off, it's
light.
you. I think I'm not quite small enough for that.
I'm just thinking about like child size, so I'm pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're getting closer to where we had previously seen the hatted men, do we happen to see them? Do we happen to see any change in how the people are acting?
As you start, so let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3 moving towards it, 4.
Yeah, well, I
And
think
she's trailing us.
I'm
and-
trailing, trying to
and-
find.
I was looking for a high spot, but if there's anything like stationary,
Yeah, so you can find people who've set up like heavier duty stalls where they kind of like fold out the little canvas covering over the top, or signs and other shinglings that pop forth. You could potentially make your way up there. That wouldn't be too difficult.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
pick one across from different ones. I don't want to climb up there and go, God damn it, you're a man. Move to the next one.
All right, both of you give me traversal checks. This will be another easy one. We'll put this at 6.
Let's see what happens. No, 4.
5.
Okay, so you're looking at the side of it and you're like, it's like flat slats of wood. Maybe if I dig my nails in, I can. And it does not go well.
Shit.
All right, so the 4 of you eventually find yourselves kind of exiting the crowd. There's this almost like circular grouping of people. You notice that you passed by a group of people who are basically like kneeling in prayer. They're reciting some sort of mantra that you can hear. And like dead center of the group are these 4 Nazis just like yucking it up at the fact that like, who are these backwards people? You're assuming they are saying in German. But once they see you, and especially you enter, there's a clear like, clear the gun to make sure there's ammo in there, and then leveled weapons. So I'm assuming we're starting combat.
All right.
Okay.
Like it.
No, I just want a clear line of sight. It's okay.
Right?
Give
I
it
just
a turn
need
or two.
I just need a couple boxes to stand on top of and short range and just pew pew.
Okay.
So how do we actually start initiative?
So combat. So initiative works. Everybody rolls agility.
Okay.
Great.
Yep.
I will roll for the Nazis.
So that.
It's not like reflex, it's just agility.
Just agility.
I remembered I always rolled 6s for agility every time we did. Whatchamacallit.
And then you get your total, right? And what that does is that's then Stephen will then arrange that from greatest value to smallest value, right? And then
Sorry, I was going to ask, do we roll our wild die with that?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And it still explodes.
Doesn't matter.
I'd always explode.
So those get ordered by Stephen, who will then turn those into generic slots for PCs or NPCs, kind of like Edge of the Empire. Right.
Cool. So I'll make this nice, quick, and easy. Oh wait, per each NPC?
You could roll it
Do them
for
as a group?
NPC group if
Okay.
you wanted to. Yeah, that's not.
Did anybody get 4 or lower?
No.
All right, NPCs will go last.
Wow.
So PCs go first.
They roll like shit.
Does it matter who got the highest number, or do we just decide?
Well, in that case, what that does is that instead of it being like sort of D&D traditional initiative where that person's definitely going to go first, it's more like Star Wars system where you're trying to someone is definitely going to be able to go before the enemies. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And somebody useful will definitely be able to go before the enemies.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So
Who gets
players are up
this?
first. Your guys' choice. Who wants to act first? I can see
I feel
initiative on those two.
I feel like even given what I usually do, you would probably attack first.
Probably. Yeah. So I will level my sword at them.
Okay.
Smite them.
I will say.
Fuck you.
Yes, I will say that.
The mighty battle cry of my people.
Fuck you!
Get
I will
bent.
say something along the lines of
It's a battle for him.
"Begone, foul creatures of the fatherland,"
Nice.
and then I will
It's not
charge
the one
in
way.
to swing with my longsword.
Okay.
This is
So they will be using evade because they are holding guns.
Sure. Yep.
Cool.
And
So
basically-
that's just you need to beat their evade to hit them.
So we're doing kind of, at this point, we're doing kind of like theater of the mind stuff. It's not like fully gridded, right? So I'm moving up to them. From the way that you described it, that will be within my 30 feet
Yeah.
of movement. So I don't need
They're
to like
close enough.
do an extra action, right? And I'm going to do one action, right? Because moving is, you can move up to 30 feet for free.
Yeah.
That's the average character. Now, depending on your template, you might
Have tweaks.
have a speed tweak or something like that. So it's like the old Star Wars system where you say, okay, here are the actions I'm going to do. For every action, for every extra action per turn, you got to drop a dice from everything you're doing. That make sense? Mm-hmm. So if you did 2 actions, that's -1 die for both actions.
So say swing your sword twice.
Yes.
Instead of rolling your pool of
What for me would be 5D.
would go down to 4D for each of those attacks.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can double attack, it's just both attacks are penalized.
Right.
Okay.
Or you can triple attack. Or you can, like you can do as many actions as you want, but the more actions you do, the less effective all of those actions are going to be, right? Now, the good thing about this is that when you have a ranged weapon, you've got a rate of fire, right? That's how many attacks you can make in a round without applying the action penalty, right? So in our rate of fire 3, you can make 3 attacks at the standard thing.
Okay.
And that's your one, attack action. Does that make sense? So, I'm going to take my one action, so I'm going to roll my full dice pool for the blade. And I'm going to target the one closest to me.
We will call him Nazi A.
Nazi A. Okay.
Nazi ASS.
I figure, the best way to treat them is to give them the most demeaning and inhumanizing means necessary and reduce them to numbers.
Yeah, we don't sympathize.
We got 16.
Okay, so that beats their evade.
Yay!
So roll damage.
Which is 5D plus 2.
Oof.
Nice. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
And Nazi's gonna die real quick.
It's gonna have a bad day.
Holy hell.
10, 14, 6 is 20, 23.
23. Wow. So, a staggering strike cuts nearly through the man. And he is still up, barely just clutching his side.
Aha!
Okay.
Moo.
Well, I would, because I don't want to take your kill, I would attack Nazi B.
Very well.
Roll our 5.
Still in the 1.
Yes, because I don't know what the evade we're trying to beat is, and they need to die before they shoot me.
That's fair.
Oh, I hit them.
Yes.
Well,
But I got a 1.
Ooh, with a wrinkle.
So that's like
Okay. So I'm going to say you'll strike him,
18.
but you're going to get your weapon lodged in the ground as part of it, and you'll need to take an action to remove it from the ground.
or it's stuck
Next
in the
turn.
person.
That's only if he's dead. If you kill him, yes, it'll be stuck in a Nazi.
Okay. And I'm going to
That's the worst. That's the worst place for your weapon to be.
You don't want
It'll try to shake it off, and it's like the whole body.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a great mental image.
Everyone would get out of the way, though.
Shit.
Which is your wild die? No, the one over there.
So that's only 13 damage.
Okay.
My wild die is rolling like...
Still a solid hit. He manages to kind of like move out of the way, and the trident grazes the side and then strikes a barrel behind him.
And enemies, of course, have soak values too, determined by their armor that they're wearing. So they won't necessarily take the full extent of the damage, right?
Okay, I'll go next.
Okay.
And I'll take Nazi C.
All right.
How many Nazis are there?
4. So it goes up to D.
This.
Got it.
This.
Are people starting
That
to
was
move
a
out of the way
six.
as this happens?
Yeah, once they get a chance to, people will hit the floor, especially as guns start going off.
20,
Oh, yeah.
22,
23.
23.
Yeah, that's a hit.
But
One on the
I-
wild die.
One on the wild die.
1 on the wild die. Okay. And you were shooting?
Punching.
Punching. Ooh.
Your fists run out of ammo.
You need to reload your fists.
Like, yeah, cocking noise.
Okay, I know. So this is punch, yes?
Mm-hmm.
You're real thirsty. You need a drink.
Oh, God.
Like, bad. And you
There's
I-
lots of blood
The
already.
sun's already
Yeah.
been like
Yeah, the-
blistering.
the sun hasn't been pleasant. You're thirsty. You're going to next turn need to take an action to drink blood.
Okay.
You can do other actions as well, but one of them has to be drink some blood.
Okay.
One's pretty almost dead.
Pretty sure that's
Yeah.
not halal.
No.
Apologies to everybody.
Unless there was a-
Okay. Damage.
Boom shot clock. That's a lot of 5s. Looks nice.
16.
Nice. Pretty staggering blow. Managed to hit, probably with vampiric claws, kind of rake into this soldier, and staggers a bit, but still ready to fight. Spits up a little bit of blood. Who's next?
And I just look at it longing.
Just like a drop gets on your chin, and you're like, that's not enough.
Alright, who's up next?
Are people moving out of the... I would move to get a clear shot, and I'll go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say you can hop up on, fish barrel or something.
Right, yeah, just like a barrel to get better vantage.
To put this in perspective, a round of combat is about 10 seconds long.
Okay.
So this is...
Yeah, you've got
Kinda
some
long at a
time
clip.
to your actions.
I'll get up higher and shoot at Nazi.
D?
A, B, C, or D?
Let's go with A. Let's see if I can finish him off for you.
Sure.
Kill steal. You're ruining my KD.
17 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay.
Let's be honest. If your KD is
Oh,
less
yeah.
than 1,
9.
then that's really
9?
Sure.
Because
That's just
Then
enough
I
to
get
drop
dodge.
him to 0. So you manage to just kind of like wing and graze him in the shoulder, and you get this kind of like stagger look at it, looks at you, gives a shrug, and collapses to the floor. Up next.
I think we're the only two that haven't gone
Yep.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter to me.
You can go. I've been kind of bringing up the rear. Make sure that I have like a visual on everybody.
I'm gonna take the shot
Okay.
at D. I'm gonna try to find a place, get like that kneel, prop up the gun against something. Aim and
There's a
You gonna use my
perfectly
fish
placed
barrel?
fruit cart.
sweet. it's gonna be not loud, but
So you do like a kick slide to get on top of it, steady yourself, arms, shoulders, and legs all kind of like popped.
this fruit's
present.
almost consistency of sandbag. Look,
No, you clear them out of the
Okay.
way.
kind of nicely.
Drive by fruity.
You eat an orange and get a.
Oh dang!
It's a watermelon disaster.
So that's
My cabbages.
9, 11
My cabbages. That's enough to hit.
With a 1 on the wild.
with a 1 on the wild die.
So
God.
you take the shot, and I'm gonna say weapon
Jams.
jams.
Yep.
You're not out of ammo yet, but you're gonna need some time to clear.
I'm going to have some words with that little American boy. It jammed on first shot.
Yeah, that's
What
not,
is this?
That's real bad timing on that one.
Impeding my Nazi killing. His suggestion was terrible. American made.
What level are you shooting against, by the way?
D.
Okay.
And the damage does explode?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 12.
Hot shit.
12, let's see here. 20, 32.
32.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
you
God.
just, red eyes, click. For everybody else there's just this moment of red mist as a Nazi, which had a head and no longer does, collapses forward.
The whole time, I'm not like seeing the kill. I'm just like, what?
This gun was silent, but you can hear you muttering. What is this?
I know exactly what it is. So you took that first shot, and it like half ejects the shell,
Yeah.
and you're like, "What is this?" And you look at it, and Hal has literally written his name in the shell that you just fired. That is now stuck in the ejection port.
Son of a bitch.
Nice.
Son of a bitch.
Whooshka.
Grandmother?
All right.
That might be
So
Yes.
you were last.
Yeah.
Go for it.
How many Nazis do we have left?
There is
Three,
B and
two.
C.
Okay.
I killed one, you killed
killed
the
A.
other.
So there is B, which currently has been claimed by Muthib, correct?
Mouthy. Yep.
Muthib.
I think you're the only one whose name I didn't get because you don't talk.
And the other one,
You have to
in
take off your mask to
which
say anything.
Elsa is like licking her lips and staring at. So
It was Hooker.
Can you
Just-
drink from the
just
one
letting
that
you
we
know.
killed? There's lots of mist around.
Just sort of.
Like catching snowflakes.
Yeah, I'm like sticking my tongue out.
You just take like a big
Each
sword.
one tastes different.
Good. The system is behaving as intended.
Which one is Elsa eyeing?
C.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for D then.
D is dead.
Yeah. There's
B
B
and
and
C
C.
are
Oh,
all
the
through
B
left.
and C. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
B and C.
Okay.
Muthib has B, and Elsa has C.
I think I'm gonna go with the scythe, considering we're in a place with a decent amount of people.
It's probably a good idea.
Unless we got a good shot.
So like, remove it from my back holster and it like
Accidentally didn't
tessellates
kill
out.
2 people with that one.
Yeah. And make my move on B.
All right.
So
Time to reap.
Okay, so the number next to the skill is how many dice I roll to hit, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's a wrinkle.
Okay.
God, all of us.
Yeah. We've all had wrinkles.
I didn't.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Major.
11.
Nice. Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay.
With a wrinkle.
Yep.
And then
Is the wrinkle on any one or just a one on our exploding die?
One on the wild
One
die.
Okay.
Yes.
so then for damage I
Also, I've had
roll
triple.
might,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I add what I get from the weapon.
Correct.
Okay. So that's 6, 7, 8,
So that's
9,
15?
10, 11, 12, 13. Right? Because this is
4.
a 2.
Oh, right, it's
So it
12.
starts over
Not
at
8.
7.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yes.
2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13?
Yeah.
Okay.
13 to beat.
Another pretty good hit. Still up.
But that complication now.
That complication. So you take the swing with your scythe, and you land the hit, but as you're kind of hitting, he makes kind of a grab for it,
Okay.
and in doing so, he's kind of got a good hold of your weapon,
Okay.
which is also keeping it from like literally going through him.
Okay. I think it's their turn now.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So B, who currently is in scythe battle with you, draws a handgun with the free hand and is going to try to shoot you point blank.
Okay.
Now, what point blank means is that your defense score, whatever you're using, right, usually evade, right, is -5 because you're right up
Right
on
there.
the thing. Right.
What? How do I get my soak value?
Soak is your armor numbers put together, and then any sort of circumstantial bonus.
Okay.
Does a 12 strike you?
12 would have been my normal evade, so yeah.
Okay. Damage. 12 points of damage coming your way. So reduce that by soak.
That's 9.
So that'll leave you with 3.
No, my soak is 3.
Ah, okay. So yeah, that's a 9 total. We'll then move over to C, who is currently point blank with Vampirus and does not like the look in your eye.
All right, now
I'm not that pretty.
can I use block to try to bat the gun away?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not as like an action, but yeah, as part of your defense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the mean you're trying to. That's the means by which you are trying to avoid this damage. Yes.
Okay, so what's the penalty on point blank?
-5.
-5.
Okay. So SMG leveled at you, freaking out, and is going to probably do that high rate of fire. Yeah,
An SMG, that's good.
yeah. Is going to try to just unload into you. So first round, right? Let's use this guy. I'll probably do 13.
It meets.
Okay, so that does hit.
Okay, so that hits. That's with the -5.
Yeah, I have 18 block.
Damn. Ooh, and they are mean on damage. That's 16 damage.
Minus so.
Yeah, minus soak.
So 4, that's not too bad.
Second volley, which ends poorly for him. A total of 6,
No.
and managed a 1 on that. So the last one goes click as it jams. Yeah, and
He's not going to get that extra attack.
Yeah, he's got that white face as he's like, oh no.
See, you look at the weapon, and then you look at the person in front of you, and look at the weapon again.
American made, German made, they all suck.
All right, so it's our turn again.
Back to the top.
I'm hungry, so I'm going first.
Yep.
That's fine.
Okay, can I use Brawl
Thirsty.
to kind of grapple this guy and sink my fangs in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what brawling's for. That's grappling and unarmed combat. Another one on the wild die. That's fine.
You break a tooth.
You
need to go this.
Capture vampire dentist. Oh,
So it's a 20, but I did get the one on the wild die.
That does hit.
Adventist.
Roll some damage. Let's see how this turns out.
Okay, so I'm sinking my teeth into this guy and drinking, so what would damage be?
no, that's like
I'd probably take maybe a die or two off.
so. Like starting with might.
Yeah.
Right?
And just one die off?
Yeah, let's go with just one die off.
Yeah. So you'd roll like
Because
3, right?
you're literally draining somebody's blood, but it's through little pinpricks.
They're losing life force, but
Yeah.
Not great. 8.
8?
Does it avoid soak?
I would assume so,
yes,
yeah.
in this case, because you're going for the soft matter, right? You're not biting the armor. Yeah.
So yeah, he lets out a scream as you're biting him.
That could be so many things. There could be like a local, like, demon! You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Now this is a perfect opportunity, I think,
To pull on that.
pull on your stuff.
Yeah.
Your
Expose you.
uncanny valley that you've got there.
Yeah.
So the
That's so
onlookers.
uncanny valley when you have a giant sunburn.
Yeah. So the onlookers notice that you are draining this man of his vitae, his vital essence. There's a whole lot of what you're assuming are holy gestures being made in your direction. Along with what is very clearly in like broken English being screamed vampire.
Like you do.
Like you do.
As you do. With like the double one in the thirst for blood.
So poor Mr. C, well not really, is still up. Barely. Who's next?
I'm gonna try to get my scythe away, or like,
From B. Yeah.
From B? Okay.
or
So in that case, I'm gonna say
if there's a way like I can like push or swing it in another direction to get like a different kind of hit on him. Like depending on how he's got a hold on it.
yeah. So the way I'm thinking of it is you'll need an action to break, and then another action to actually attack if you want to bring it back.
Okay.
In which case you would be rolling with -1 to your die pools.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to think if there'd be a way to break that would like, I don't know, throw him off balance or give him some kind of a disadvantage.
I mean that could potentially pop up, but
Okay. So what do I roll to break?
I would say you could use melee, and you'll be going up against his brawling.
Okay.
It's just kind of his physical strength of trying to like
Do I add my
hold on to it.
my scythe
grapple it.
bonus to it?
Your scythe skill,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
because that's for damage.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying. Can you beat a 9?
Yep. Got
Yep.
15, 16, 17.
And that's with the. Well, I guess yeah. Is that with a -1 to the pool?
16.
One
No,
less
it's whole
die.
die.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So roll
Okay.
a
So
3.
then, and we can rewind this if need be. That would be spending the whole action to just remove from his.
Oh,
grip.
okay, I see.
Yep. If you want to remove from grip and
And that's
strike,
again.
then I would say re-roll that
Okay.
with 3 dice.
with one less die.
Yeah.
Yep. You gotta beat
14.
9. You're good to go.
About the same.
and
Yeah,
then you can
so-
roll to hit.
Yep. So popped free, and then swing.
Yeah, and that roll to hit also has -1.
-1.
Yeah.
10.
And you're good.
Cool.
Roll damage.
And damage is normal. Damage doesn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the action penalty. It's not.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Interesting choice.
Like another one on my
A wild die.
really
A lot of
bad.
Well, wild die
damage.
and damage isn't a thing.
Okay.
Cool.
One's on wild die and damage.
I did 5 points of damage.
5? Okay,
Yeah, I rolled
so
3 ones.
so you pop it back out and kind of like catch him as you're going back, but it's not too much. He's able to kind of move away from it. Both of them look to be about in the same state. One of them is bleeding profusely from stabs and cuts. The other is currently a drink menu item.
I assume you're going to go next.
Milkshake.
I will kill
You-
Nazi B.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
Kill Nazi beat.
That's the goal. I have to roll to attack him with one less die, though, because I had to use an action to pull my trident. out of the
Exactly.
ground.
Yes. Yep.
Instead of a Shirley
Free it.
Temple, it's
You're gonna
And
free
swing.
out.
Nazi.
Whew.
Nazi suit.
It's another one.
Does a 9 hit?
Is his
A
name
9
Mary?
does hit.
Okay. That's not my wild die. Does that count?
No, only
Okay.
if it's your wild.
So a 9 does hit.
Yes.
Then I get to roll 3, 4 plus 2.
I think you got him.
15.
Yep. So you finish B off. This is with the trident.
Yes.
Yeah, you give like a solid just spear through.
Brick, where did you get a trident?
And sloughs off the end of it.
I'm concerned about trying to shoot C with Elsa attached to his neck.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's a bit of a complication there.
As I kill him, you just hear me give a roar through my breathing mask.
Remember, it's not Wookiee. It's
I mean, it
can't
could be
roll the
Wookiee
R's.
sounding.
It's through the mask. Yeah, it's a
Wookiee
little hard.
adjacent.
Yeah, muffles it.
From a fish barrel, you hear,
You just
"Hey,
can't roll your R's.
hey, Lancelot, can you get our friend off of him so we can shoot him?"
I mean, it is technically you could go.
Personally, I don't want to like even involved in this whole.
You're a robot. She can't drink you.
I know that, but like I don't want to upset at the same time.
She's in one-on-one combat. I can't interfere with that.
Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays?
It used to be Netflix and chill.
I
Now it's
think,
one-on-one
I think
combat.
this situation is just going to resolve itself.
The locals are looking pretty pitchforky.
They're like up and moving, like they are fleeing at this point. And there is you were hearing not like chants, but constant echoes, like lightning
grabbing
strikes
some more
of
of your
people
stuff,
just shouting
except a little bit
vampire
more
as it
rural.
arcs through a crowd.
Well,
You have startled the locals.
we're starting a riot
Well, yeah, maybe,
in a mob.
definitely
It's a flash mob.
of the best type. So, who wants to do what next?
Yes.
I've gone, she's gone.
I mean,
Yeah.
passing is a valid option if you just want to, like, I don't got a shot.
I got a shot.
I mean, unless I can
You got a clearly gun.
Yeah.
Unless I can, like, move around behind them so I can get a better shot at them since the locals are fleeing. Can I hop fish barrel fish barrel, so to speak?
You would definitely need to give me, like, a traversal action to do that.
Yeah,
So, if you wanted to shoot in the same round, you'd be looking at a -1.
I know, and that wouldn't be good for my traversal route.
How do I roll 0D?
Right? It'd be like a 1D traversal. That would be great. I might have to traverse this round and shoot next round.
You're a mouse, and I have better traversal than you.
I put it all in agility so I could shoot things.
Shoot very good.
I mean, I killed a dude, so I guess I'll try traversal. Let's see what happens. See if I can get behind him. 9.
Yeah, I'd say you're like pushing through the crowd to make it. It's not difficult, but there's bodies in the way.
Yeah.
Is the biggest issue. Panicked bodies.
Lancelot, I am going to, seeing this whole situation going on with Elsa,
Situation.
I'm going to turn around and I will hold my sword aloft and I'm going to try a relations roll to try to smooth things over with the crowd. I'm going to say, good people, though our methods may be crude, we are here to vanquish evil in the name of your God.
I mean,
That can't go wrong.
that might be appropriating somebody else's god, but
It might
let's
be like
see how
the
this plays out,
Ewoks
Con.
and C-3PO. It might be okay.
I hope you roll.
I'm going to spend
A plus 6.
So plus 6. You really want this to happen.
Just do it.
12,
There's
13,
no
14,
sixes
15,
there.
16, 17, 18.
Yeah, I would have put this as something that would be moderate to difficult. I'm going to say you managed to calm a number of them. There's
Sure,
still clearly some who are out of earshot or in
Sprayed
the
in a
throes
mist.
of panic.
You have the mist of blood then.
But you definitely notice the three, be it 2 brothers and 1 sister in red, now kind of standing at the side and watching the rest of what unfolds.
Oh boy.
And that just leaves you, right?
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you blew ahead up last round.
Good people. No our method. Maybe
Slurping
He's
noises.
just he's screaming in the background.
Just come up
constant
for a
Wilhelm
breath.
scream.
Man, this is delicious. And then just go.
It's that one movie scream from like Austin Powers that goes for way
too long.
too long.
Yeah.
So are you just going to clear your gun, or are you going to actually try something else?
I'm going to clear my gun, and then I'm going to make a perception to see if there's more zombies. Oh, not zombies, but because
This isn't Black Ops.
No, Black Ops is under agility.
It's true.
for more Nazis.
Sure.
See if
So that's-
backups
so
and
that's
backups.
minus one
Yeah.
die, right?
Yep. We're doing 2 things.
Oh, there we go. A 2 on the wild die. Thankfully.
Finally,
that's a
not
15.
bad. Okay. So your perception. So you're like spying and looking around a bit.
Just
Yes. You give it one good pull and it just pops loose. You just had to get the bolt far enough back, that's all. But, so yeah, your observations, you're kind of like looking around, trying to spy things. And you can see like vaguely off in the distance, there's like a dark splotch, which... Of all the clothing you've seen around here, it's been very light tones. Been stuff that's not designed to soak in the sun's rays. There's like looks like a group of people off in the distance, maybe on like a stair step or something. It's hard to tell. They're a little elevated. You don't have great vision on them because of the distance you are from them.
could I then pull out my binoculars, or I guess
I was figuring that into it, yeah.
Okay.
Where like even with those, you're like, "What's that over there?"
you see that,
you
and then you just
pull the binoculars up, and you're like, "It's the right color, but it's a distance."
I just need my rangefinder now.
I think that
Adjustments.
Or Nazi
Adjustments.
Nazi
Yep.
sees.
Yep. So we're up to Nazi C, who is going to attempt the brave double action of clearing his jammed gun
He's not gonna make it.
and unloading. Yeah, I got bad news for this guy. So he will clear it
I was almost calling you.
while getting the world's worst hickey, and then attempt to unload on you.
At point blank range.
So that minus
Well,
5 will
we're
help.
Just talking.
Okay, he's got a chance. He's rolled a 6, so he's going to roll that again. 2. Does a 12 strike you?
No.
All right. First volley does
Even
not
with point
succeed.
blank.
No, it's like 13.
Yeah, she has amazing block.
She does.
Second shot does not hit. And third, it also jams again.
He's a little distracted. Do be fair.
He's trying to do a lot of things.
Slowly losing consciousness.
Just
Not the kind of arms of the Aryan woman he wanted to be in, I don't think.
no, but there's like yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Okay,
See how this plays out.
I'm up first again.
Yeah, we're gonna say that bloodlust is probably continued.
Mm-hmm. So, do I have to make another...
Yeah, you got to do another brawling just to continue it.
Okay. God damn it!
Did you get a 1 on the wild die again?
Yes.
Yeah, constant ones.
5 shots.
16, 17.
We did not plan for this.
No, I did plan for this.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll do.
You planned for all of the ones?
I did, yeah.
I mean, it's 1/6 of the.
Like, roll damage, go
Roll.
nuts. I'm just curious. Wow, that's
Low.
surprising number of ones, yeah. Okay, that's not bad.
6, 12, 17, 18.
So something akin to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you drain the literal color from this Nazi. White as snow. But as he goes, there's this like odd look of ecstasy in his eyes. With that 1, I'm gonna say you're still thirsty. You need more blood.
It was some.
And you're looking around, you're seeing the audience around you, you're seeing some of your friends, one of them...
You're gonna see me,
Not really
like, right the fuck in front of you, because I went behind you to get a better...
I metal.
Yeah, but imagine it this way. You're looking at like a sepia tone world now. The bloodlust has gotten so heavy that when you're looking at somebody, you see this shadowy outline, and you see their veins burning red. You don't see a person, you see a collection of veins and blood pumping through it.
It's like those cartoons where they're on a deserted island. They look at the other person, they turn into a cheeseburger. We do have 3 bodies lying on the ground.
I will
in some
cock my revolver at you and go,
war,
Elsa, don't you even fucking think
dead
about
bodies
it.
immediately turn bad for vampires for like taste. They just taste awful. Dead
Yeah,
bodies
it's
as
like
soon
soda
as they
that goes
die.
flat.
Yeah, it's just immediately...
Yeah, they've gone flat.
Or if you go with the Anne Frank lore, if you
Can
go
we
with the Anne
put
Rice
some more
lore,
combinations? Just like do some CPR. Maybe they'll come back just for a second.
to get the blood flowing. So, I'm going to say with that 1, you need to pick one of your buddies here to try to drink from.
Can I do some
Just
kind of...
once.
Can I do some kind of roll to resist it?
Yes, but I'm going to put it as a difficult roll. So you're looking at the range of 16 to 20, and this is probably going to be Spirit.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You can try. There's the possibility that you roll a ton of 6s.
No.
But...
It
Must
has
be
been
resist.
Yeah.
So if your resist roll is any better,
Well, resist is...
Under Spirit. So if you happen to have bumped that...
Resist is not a skill.
It's a
it's under
defense.
defenses.
Yeah.
Oh, what's under Spirit's Resolve?
Relations.
Relations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, we don't
resist
really have, like,
is
an
wit
active defense.
or spirit.
So yeah, I'd say that. You could pick Wit or Spirit to roll, which for you is both 1. So you've got your wild die.
It's not resist.
Resist is just a flat number.
It's a way of defending.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes, I see.
So whoever she's trying to bite would, like, be
Okay.
rolling resist
Got
or
it.
something.
No, you'd roll against my brawling.
Yes, which is rough.
Yeah.
But that's the fun when you make a barbarian character and then I throw a wizard at you who can control your mind. That's a D&D metaphor for what's going on right now.
I'm remembering Saki.
She is raging.
God,
Yeah.
that was an awful
So-
character to play with.
Let's see. You're in the center of the circle. You are also in the center of the circle, and you are also in the center of the circle. So I'm going to say, pick one of those three, or roll a die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See. For what's your skin like?
Dark
Green.
green.
None of
I'm
us
just
look
going off of
particularly
texture
human.
and,
Yeah.
like-
I don't know. Your blood might taste bad.
That's a 6.
It's going to taste exotic. Let's
So
find out.
gross is that?
I've never tasted this blood before.
Wathib.
So I just roll against his defense.
Yes. And you are defending, I'm guessing, with Trident.
Yep.
So you're defending with parry.
Yep.
So what's the number we're looking at?
15.
Ooh, this will be a good roll.
Yeah, say this will be fun.
Yeah.
Is that a 1 again?
That's a 6.
Oh, good. I was going to say, I'm running out of options here.
Well, if you're rolling 6 die, get a 15's not so bad.
So 10,
It's not a 1 again, is it?
12, 22,
That'll hit.
26, 29.
Okay, so
Jesus.
again, roll might with the -1 as you are draining blood from your companion, Bathib.
Excellent. Blood knot might be good.
Shit, son.
Yeah, it's alien
Damn.
blood. It doesn't have any oxygen.
But that's
11.
still against your soak. So 11.
I'll take
Well,
2 damage.
No,
It's
it's
the
not.
bite. Never mind. That's from hit points.
Oh,
He found
Is
or
his
she
blood
found
ev-
the soft part.
Is his blood even good for this? Like, it doesn't have any oxygen in
Just
it.
give me a die roll. Give me your wild die.
All chlorine. Just
Like,
If
die.
the wild die is a
Yeah.
1, then yeah, you're in for a bad treat. But
It's a 1.
so you
Well,
do
the good
the
news is you're gonna stop.
yeah. So you do the sup deep from this grand well, and then you immediately turn and just vomit. Like
It's just pure red.
you have gone from like I am high society, I am better than these people, to I've had too much tequila and I'm throwing up in the alleyway.
So the good
with
news
death.
is you're somewhat immune to vampires.
Just didn't like the taste.
It's like drinking LaCroix. This tastes like something that was made in the somewhat near vicinity of another drink that has a flavor.
And as with all my systems, we immediately go
PvP.
gotta test those rules, right?
I don't hit.
Wow. Really?
I rolled a 17.
No, you don't hit.
Damn.
Even though she's actively vomiting, you don't have that in your system, so I don't hit.
Damn. Just
Might be
somehow
something you wanna
slides out
include
of
in
the
the
way.
system.
Have incapacitated?
Just actively vomiting rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if you're incapacitated anyway.
Yeah, is there like dazed? Because I remember there was some mention of like dazed as a condition.
That was a while back in terms of like wound thresholds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it's probably for the best that I missed.
because I think that put like -1 to dice rolls or something. So it
I
was just-
will see you
There's
try
not-
to hit her and
there's-
like.
Not currently anything to that effect in the playtest document, but that's something to consider. The weird thing is, what's the number? Right.
Do you just use like the flat -5 in the same way that close range was the -5?
Like
Or-
point blank. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my
Like
inclination.
go-to?
Yeah, that seems like a simple enough number, but I don't know. It would depend on the level of incapacitation, right? If you're like just vaguely annoyed by the sun, that's not as bad as like actively doubling over and vomiting.
Hunched over vomiting.
Yeah.
I
don't know. At that point, I think it maybe gets a little too simulationist. So like,
Yeah,
I think a flat
it's a little
high
picky.
is probably just fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's nothing in for that just yet.
Okay. So we'll call it a miss.
I slam my trident into the ground as I manage to miss the woman who's not moving and who's actively vomiting.
Well, she's probably contorting.
Yeah, maybe it's because she's moving so much.
You slip a little bit in the vomit.
What is happening?
I will hop off my fish barrel and pick across the vomit and blood and offer you a first aid kit. Do you need this?
I would just shake my head.
I mean, I've got a medical kit. We can use that first, but, like, what is happening?
Oh, shit. Ugh.
You haven't felt this bad since you're what, 300 years old?
Over 300, yes.
Over 300 years old? God,
1650.
I'm going to take my mask off and tell you...
I gotta look up a reference.
You haven't felt this bad
Renaissance.
since
Isaac Newton tried to ask.
Alien blood doesn't taste good?
since the rat plague brought back by the Portuguese explorers. No, that was 1500s.
Shit. Hold on. Hold on. We're getting
That's
somewhere.
Isaac.
I'm looking for, like, the crowning of the king. Something as simple as that.
After 1650?
A lot of people died. A lot
I'm
of people born. Well,
327, if that helps.
I know.
That's post bite though, right?
No,
Or is that including bite?
that's total.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking sometime when you were still alive and drinking was like a thing you did. When you were around for, let's go. The birth of Richard Lumley, the first Earl of Scatterborough. When he was born, you were around at that, and there was quite a big party. You remember being like blackout drunk. You haven't felt like this bad in literally 300 years. It's been a bit rough.
I've heard of insects doing that, but not people.
At this point, you're literally hearing, like, imagine somebody with like a big drum just constantly pounding on that. You're hearing everybody else's heartbeat, and everything else sounds like Charlie Brown voices over the phone. Like, you need a moment to collect yourself, clear your head, and probably get something to drink. But you are back in control.
Oh, I haven't felt that bad in a while. I guess the cat's out of the bag now, since none of you knew.
Technically, she's not a people, she's a vampire.
Hey,
So
That's
she was-
racist.
So she was a people, but she's not technically a people anymore, but she looks like a people.
What is your
She's
perception
technically still
rank?
human.
I'm just...
But not...
how many dice I have in perception?
Moving
or
on,
total?
who's injured?
Total.
Because
In perception.
3.
I'm
3? Okay.
He
so
is,
you're-
but he
definitely
doesn't
going to
want
need
help.
help, and
You're
I'm
like
not sure I can
making
use a
out
medical
words,
kit on
but
myself.
that beating noise is very hard to like work around. But you can still hear conversations.
Prepare friends coming from a long distance up those stairs.
What?
The
I'll give you
gray
my first aid kit.
outfit is very abnormal for this
Does
place.
the first aid kit do flat plus 10?
Yep.
Okay, because I don't think I can use a medical kit on myself very well.
Self-surgery is a weird subject. It really depends on the wound.
Well, I got
visible,
shot
how
point blank.
workable.
You can do a bit.
Currently, the rules do not allow for a medicine check. That's what the first aid kits are for, so you
Yeah.
can just patch yourself up. But the medicine checks are meant to be done on another person, like flat surgery. Or,
So I'll just
That's
give
what I
you
figured.
my
Yeah,
first aid kit and help you.
Okay.
I'd
It'll
at
get
you
me back
and
up to full.
just-
Who else
I
is
could
injured?
use a patch.
I can take that with that. How much time do you think we have?
They were quite far away, but rushing can be
Where are
quite
they?
fast. I point over to it was like a stair area.
So yeah, it's like outside of the bazaar that you're in, through some of the marketplace, like down one of the aisles effectively is what you're looking down. And at the far end, like maybe 200, 300 yards away, you can see like the dark blue, dark gray outfits.
I need to not use this.
So
Can I-
medicine kit? I roll
Because
what?
I rolled like
Medicine?
6
Or-
months on it.
yeah, so
However much I.
you're just going to make a medicine check, right? So you're just going to take your medicine pool and then roll it.
Are you kidding me?
Is that a 1?
Yeah,
On the wild die, yeah.
and that's a 9 total.
It's a 9.
Yeah.
So what's 9 on the difficulty scale?
Second tier.
Easy?
Yep.
Okay, so then you would recover 1d of hit
Okay.
points.
So
1d6.
However, with a 1 on the wild die,
there may be complications.
yeah.
Why are
so
we
it's
all
interesting how
terrible
it
at what we do?
is. It's that wild guy, man.
I think I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to say anything. Can I traverse up to see if I can get a better vantage point on these dudes?
Yeah, you could probably pop up on a roof.
That's probably enough of a wrinkle, that is. He only got
yeah.
1 out of that.
That
He's an
that
alien
seems
life
pretty rough.
form.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I might
like
not know what I'm doing.
This dice has rolled 4 1s since we started rolling.
See, and now I've rolled my 1 on the wild die.
I'm
But
just
I
gonna use
rolled
one
a
of
5 to
the 15
traverse up
kits.
to a roof. And I don't know what kind of wrinkle. I get my foot stuck in the sheet? I don't know.
You like sprain your ankle or something. I mean,
Yeah.
not sprain, but like twist.
Yeah, like pull a muscle.
Ow.
Yeah. So for the medicine check, the wrinkle for that's going to be you have literally no idea what you're doing, and you end up like using a decent amount of your supplies here. So I'm going to say
Double the cost.
yeah, like next couple times you use it are probably going to be their last. You'll need to replace them.
Okay.
It's just going to be harder to traverse for you.
It's okay.
It's-
And obviously, it already is.
Yep.
Have you told us where the dark?
But was I
clothed people
successful
are?
with the 5?
With a
Level
5,
7.
no.
Okay.
What
Well, then I
about
guess I'll just
300
roll a
yards?
flat perception and see if I can see anything about these.
Sorry,
dudes.
I'm admittedly only used to doing medical procedures on other Filiformians.
I would immediately just start storming in the direction he gave me of the people that are clad in the dark clothing.
To war!
But I haven't
I am
finished
not a
the
happy
Peshagon.
biped right now.
10, 19,
Very
21
heavy.
for perception.
21?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 to 1.
Thank you. So you kind of like squint your eyes and look at it, and looks like a group of them over there. You think maybe about 6 by the entrance to some sort of building.
That would have been a perception roll.
You're
4
seeing like
sixes and a 1?
faint shimmering of what might be heat of some sort. That's about it. But yeah, it looks like it's a stone staircase, sandstone staircase, up about like a full story, and then they're standing in front of this large brass door.
Hey, so there's a whole bunch of guys over there, and there's a little thing that's like shimmery, like a heat kind of thingy in front of him, and there's like 6 of them, and he's walking towards us. We should probably go.
Walking or like
I am storming toward them. This is not a walk.
Like a
is it
power
like
walk?
the power walk that turns into a jog that turns into like a run that
Yep.
then turns into like the freaking sprint?
Terminator.
He's going very fast towards him. We should go.
Yeah.
And I just
All right.
weave in and out.
Okay, so everybody give me traversal just to get kind of a feel for one of you is running.
I wanted to do a quick scan of the bodies that are here.
God
See what's
damn
going
it!
on.
Another one, you say?
I got an 8, by the way.
I got 13, but 1 on the way.
Okay, so
I also got a 1.
you're managing to do pretty well, but as you're running, like, you hit a swarm of gnats, and they're in your face, in your mouth, and it's disgusting.
God damn, that's worse than the fucking alien's blood.
So I'm gonna say for the first round of combat, you just have to take whatever the last player slot will be because of that. Maybe tied with this guy if you rolled well.
I got a 6.
Second to last. Congratulations.
I got it.
Yeah. As you're running, you're just like tripping and falling behind.
Sure. I'm not,
This is like having
not especially graceful, really.
No, like you've got speed down, but
Dexterity is a, like, coordination.
Yeah, you kind of
fine motor stuff.
You kind of end up plowing through some market stalls and get haggard by people, and you spend a decent amount of that time like, sorry, excuse me, and of course making your way through.
I wanted to do a quick look over of the bodies to
Okay.
see what they have on them, anything I could use or any information I might be able to garner.
Sure. Give me a quick perception while everyone else is sprinting.
Wrap up if we can do feedback.
Definitely.
I got a 6 on my dice for
So you
once.
can roll again if you would
Yeah.
like. Risk
And that's
that one.
3. I'm trying to remember how to do how to do math. 10, 16.
Okay.
I think that's good enough.
Yeah. You do a real solid kind of overview look. Each one of them is equipped with carrier plates. They've got a combat knife on their belt. They've got the flak helmet that you saw the SS emblem emblazoned on.
Mm-hmm.
They have a handgun and they have an SMG.
Okay.
Outside of that, they've got bits and bobs, water canteen for all of them, some like stock rations, and you can see that there's fragments of technology that at one point in time were probably what allowed them to portal between dimensions, but it's pretty roughed up.
Okay. I'll nab a canteen and some rations and go join everybody else.
Okay.
I got an
Stuff in my
18.
knapsack.
Nice.
It's 9.
So do I need to make a roll then, or am I
I
joining?
am absolutely going to end up writing on your
You'll
shoulder
grab
at some
like
point.
next run for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hope you know that. Somewhere
Instead of
deep
like
in your soul.
traversing, sprinting that
We
way,
end
I'm
up with a mouse
more
curl on
trying
your
to like,
shoulder.
Going up.
yeah, up.
Thieves Highway. Okay, so
It's like having a shorts. That's all
Just gonna, like,
rationalized.
sit on your shoulder right there. Yeah.
we will end on the scene of the crowd of people effectively dispersing as you're just charging down the main thoroughfare.
I mean, I'd fucking move.
This like catches the attention. You get like close-up view of the Nazis like talking with each other. They're all smoking, and one of them kind of like out of the corner of his eye spots you as you're coming. Like looks back to everybody else, takes the cigarette and puts it out, and they all ready weapons, get behind sandbags, and they're just ready to open fire as you come charging in.
Good for them.
And I think that is where we will stop tonight. Because a 6-man combat's going to take a while.
No, not really. They died pretty fast last time.
They do go pretty quick, but
And if we keep rolling the way that we are, we'll die pretty quickly this time.
Yeah.
you'll have weird things
I
happen.
mean, I rolled ones and then I killed them
Yeah.
one shot. So you just take a
The dice giveth, and the dice taketh away.
yeah. You just roll a 1 on the wild die, but then roll average.
Little 6s on
the
everything else. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I rolled more ones on my wild die than I did not ones.
Oh, I did too. Stats.
Same.
That's what happens.
It's bound to happen every now and again. But
Well,
it did make
but
it
but
fun.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
For
the thing
an
is,
entire
in terms of, the rule language, it says that the GM can introduce a wrinkle, not that he has to. He or she has to. Right. So, it's encouraged to, like, generate these weird and kind of, like, Edge of the Empire style narrative dice moments, but they don't, it's not a done deal. If it's like, okay, well, as a GM, you might say, like, in this case, let's just go ahead and
Because you've rolled 3
pull it
consecutive
right
ones.
through. Like that obviously is a case where you might want to give the person a break, or they're in an advantageous position, and the one wouldn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Correct. Yeah.
I definitely like the option, and I think
That's why it is
Personally-
optional, because of the because of the percentages on a D6, it's just like you're more likely going to see those things than not.
Rather frequent. I mean, I like it. I think I'm going to adopt the personal rule. As long as I can think of something that I haven't already done, we'll do it. And just avoid doing, aside from like out of ammo and weapon jams, the same thing again.
Sure. Yeah.
Or weapon jams or weapons stuck and stuff. But, yeah.
As long as it's interesting. As long as it presents a kind of interesting engagement with the player, then that's fair.
Vampirism adds flavor.
In some cases, like bad flavor.
You chose Polar.
You didn't choose. Or she didn't choose. The dice chose.
That's true.
The whole.
This is fun though. I like the system.
Yeah. I like the speed to it. I was a little surprised it took us as long as we did to get through character creation and stuff, but we were also explaining everything, so...
Yeah.
I
And
always
also-
figure
We're not all looking at, if there's like a book
Yeah.
or a document,
Yeah.
then you could all look at it.
Printouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's always the thing I found that when we've been doing a lot of new systems, it's we
need that
only have
condensed, is how you
one.
do
We
it.
only have one book,
Right.
Yeah.
whereas like 5e, everybody has like 3 books.
Copies. Yeah.
But given how quickly things seemed to go once we had our character, I could see, assuming your character is already made, if we would have come in at 8 o'clock, characters made,
You probably would have
we
gotten
probably
through
could
this
have
scenario.
finished this scenario.
Yeah. Like, you were moving towards scene 3 of 5.
Short of a bunch of ones that get us all killed or something.
Yeah. Like, scene 1 was the briefing, scene 2 is the city, and scene 3 is the entryway, which is where you were going.
So is this a playtest that we're going to continue, or is this just like to test it out and you guys can go back and...
Oh, that's up to Steven. I mean, this
I'm
is,
happy to run it again,
Yeah.
especially if you either need a break or
Sickness.
things happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better now a little bit.
And I don't know about other people, but I'd be happy continuing to play this character even as things changed during testing.
Yeah, definitely as
What
it
we're
evolves, I
playing.
like that
Sure.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so the game we're playing might change as you evolve the game itself, but we'll just keep the characters because it's the same universe, just minutiae of the universe are changing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the idea was to, once this rule set is complete, or we'll say feature complete, well, to start up a regular game in it and have it, So yeah, if you wanted to transfer the characters that you made into this into that, that's great. I mean, that just saves you time.
Would you two switch off then?
Potentially.
Could be. Yeah.
Both make a character and we just switch off
Have a
scenario.
scenario.
Well, they talked about those one of the benefits of this, because like then if one of us can't be here, well, like if one of us couldn't be here the next time we did this, then maybe their belt just
Malfunctions.
shorted
That's
out.
that's
Yeah.
the sort of lore explanation, right?
Or you're off on a secret mission somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's why there's that sort of like narrative arc in the background for this game about like finding Kama and his people and like trying to dismantling this Fourth Reich or this whatever. So that
3.1.
each individual scenario can feel like
Is this a window?
sort of self-contained
It'll be
kind of episodes. Or like,
Monster of the week.
yeah, kind of like sort of like most of the week things. Where like even if somebody's not there may be a development that they can learn about later, but it's not like, oh, I've missed the story.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
You just didn't see that episode.
You get the recap at the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's see. More directed feedback. It is a pre-existing dice system, but how did dice rolling feel? Is that good? Too many dice? Not enough dice? Confusing?
I've always thought hitting was like way too easy. Like armor, it's always a lot lower than.
Except your armor is just your soak. Like I have
No,
a parry
no,
of
I
15,
meant that
that's
like the
not
parry.
bad.
Yeah, like I don't know. don't think everyone has a parry 15.
Well, yeah, but if you focused on a attack thing,
Because it's usually
your
like...
parry
Well,
is
if
whatever
you
your main
focus
attack
on your
is.
attack thing, or if you focus in evade, it's you actually have to spend skill dice into something to get a good defense, and I personally like that.
It is kind of a neat situational one. I like the idea that it's like if they had engaged you at range, you wouldn't be parrying bullets here.
Yeah,
You would be evading those bullets, and that puts you in a disadvantageous situation. So you want to close that gap.
right.
And
To
yeah,
encourage
granted,
that playstyle.
yeah, once you close that gap, the mooks you're coming up against don't really stand a chance. But they had a decent amount of soak, so they were able to take hits. But it also plays into the idea that I especially like in newer versions of D&D, and one of the things I actually really didn't like about 4th edition, 4E really pushed the idea that like armor class could go up to like 30, 40, 50. I like the idea that it's like you can always hit. You might not be doing a ton of damage, but you're always making progress towards ending the encounter. And I guess that is something that I do worry if the enemies aren't capable of hitting you, then it can easily kind of feel unbalanced there. And it can feel kind of boring when it's like, okay, I can't be hit by these guys. They're rolling 3 dice, and they pretty much have to get an explosion to hit me. I can understand where that's like, okay, yeah, that's not actually interesting.
But in the case of mooks, that
That's
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah. Once you
Just
start bumping it
random
up against, the harder guys, the well-trained, or some of the stronger or more powerful
Supernaturally
Beings.
otherwise.
yeah. Then you start running into things where it's like, oh, this guy can kick my ass. All right, let's go. So yeah, it's finding that proper balance for power fantasy, where it's like, yeah, the mooks are supposed to make you feel great, and the bosses are supposed to be able to put the hurt on you, but also not feel like damage sponges.
Right.
That's the hope.
So that's the dice pool system, which is heavily based off of Mini 6, right? Which is what we built Rippers out of.
Yeah, and I've
right?
always
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable about that one.
Rippers or the Mini 6?
Just the Mini 6, I guess, just in like the terms of how we always did. Hitting and dodging always seemed like it seemed like unbalanced. Combat always seemed unbalanced.
Explain.
Like I said, just like really easy to hit, and then now that we're doing HP, we just deal lots of damage
And
compared
that's,
to like our HP pools.
yeah, like that's partially being balanced out by soaks. I'm still tweaking those a bit. But yeah, I definitely have that worry of like, how quickly does your HP go? Especially depending on who you're coming up against. Like admittedly, SMG to the gut's not great. That's pretty rough.
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
So how much damage did
For
one of those
you,
bullets
if it
do?
would have been me, I would have been dead.
So
immediately.
-5
each
is
SMGs
really harsh.
That would have
if
dropped
it
my evade to
lands,
7.
is 3D, so that's an average of like 10.5 damage. You factor in even a basic soak of like 4, and you're doing 6 damage per hit.
So if they only have 2,
That can wipe
dice,
some people
on
with
average,
really
they'll
low
hit you.
brawn and vitality, but
Might and vigor, yeah.
yeah,
I do
might
think
be-
it
Maybe
forces
12.
you as a party though
Yeah.
to
If
plan
it's
a
not
little more.
quite
Like we obviously
Yeah, so
have
that's
tanks.
Why I am
Mhm.
back
And then
just
not
skirting
tanks.
around where they can't
Yep.
see me.
Yeah.
So you want to put, you want to use
So,
that.
Obviously, you
Yeah.
stay out point blank.
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yes, if you have evade, you stay out of. That's your big defense. You stay out of point blank.
You make that work for you. I think I need to develop more pointed questions.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
get better
I didn't
answers.
necessarily
We've
think
had
that
like
the-
some experience.
the damage went too badly as far as what we was doing compared to how easy it was to hit them.
Yeah, and I'll definitely throw some of that. Like, it was a group of 4 that you reduced to 2 before they got to do anything. So you didn't see a lot of retaliation. Group of 6, that's going to change a little bit.
I mean, granted though, you had a sniper rifle which does 6d6 damage.
But most of us were rolling 5. Still. At least 5.
Mine does 3.
Yeah.
Yours does 5.
5 plus.
Because it's, well, yeah, it was 5d plus 2 because of my might. And then the blade does 1d plus 2.
Yeah.
So, but that could have been all at once, is the thing.
It's unlikely.
It's still on average.
Well, yeah,
It's
because
still
Maria's was 4 and she managed to
Yeah,
get
so
still
total 5 damage
15
once.
Yeah.
on average.
But with a
Pop
soak
gear
of
and
like
numbers.
9, that's only chipping away rather than.
Mm-hmm. And that's where soaks, I feel like, are important to balance. Right before I started this, I dropped almost all the vest armor soaks and helmet soaks by 1. So it used to be 1 higher. And I'm kind of tempted to drop the flak jacket and breastplate by 1 again. Mostly because I don't like the idea of carrier plates to flak jacket, 3 to 6 being a half an item slot difference.
I do like how you guys implement multiple actions. If you're doing multiple things, then just everything that you do is harder.
So that's just
Yeah.
reverse.
That's taken straight from the old West End Games Star Wars system back in the day in the 80s. And that Mini 6 is built as like a streamlining of that old West End Games system. That stuff is built off of Mini 6. So that was something that I can't remember if Mini 6 has that multiple action penalty
it
or
does.
not.
I remember that.
But anyway.
Star Wars thing.
So
And
yeah, but
reverse.
that Star Wars thing wasn't run with Mini
Oh,
6.
sorry.
It was on something else. The point is that's in the DNA of this kind of system,
It's
and
also reverse.
I've always found that if you word that rule, in a consistent, logical way, then it makes sense for everybody. It's like, okay, the more actions I do, the more dice I'm losing for all my actions, right? So you can still multitask, but
You're just bad at it because
You're just
people don't
not
actually
good at it.
multitask well.
yeah. Which, according to our round time limit, which is like 10 seconds, I mean, imagine doing 3 or 4 things in the span of, 2-3 seconds. Like, of course it's going to be very hard to do so, right?
Things that I hadn't considered, just as we're talking, something that you might want to consider going forward. How would, system-wise, would you handle like a thrown melee weapon or something of that nature?
I mean, I'd probably throw it as just melee. Like, it's melee, but you're doing it in a different way. It's still the same type of weapon. You'd probably have to, like, judge ranges. I would assume short would probably make sense.
Because I was thinking kind of throwing a
Trident.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably treat it the same way, because you're giving up your weapon to do it, and you are specifically trained in that weapon. If it is something that is throwable, well-balanced, whatever it may be,
Yeah, like a knife or
why
something.
not?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense when I think about it in that mindset that this is mostly a melee weapon, but you're specifically trained in this weapon.
Yep.
For Trident, it makes sense.
Yeah. And it avoids
Trident,
getting into
knife,
the, if you
sword.
throw it, it's agility
Sword.
question, but just keep that the same.
Okay.
How throwable that is. But
Makes sense.
So yeah, I suppose we could add a little codification for thrown melee weapons.
Yeah, if you're going to throw the
Sidebar.
melee weapon, you're still using the same skill, but
short range.
penalties for range and everything like that come into play or whatever. The farther you're trying to throw it, the harder it is. And then there's the point of like, are you going to hit the target in the first place? Right?
Mhm.
So,
Can you physically throw it that far?
Short range, I don't imagine there would be any kind of penalty. It's just like you
Once you hit medium range,
You just chuck it.
penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see like maybe dropping 2 dice per range increment after that.
Some kind of small
Yeah.
kind of thing where it's like, okay, well, my chance to hit is going down because
Maybe like range bands based on your might.
Yeah.
Like before, like dice.
I don't
Drop
like the
before.
overcomplication of
Yeah,
it, but
that's true.
I
Plus,
like
there are
it in
some people
simulation mode. I don't
Yes.
like it in Reichbusters mode.
Plus, there's some people who are not necessarily strong physically, but because of the aerodynamics or whatever,
They're
they
really
can
good at throwing
just
far.
as good as
Yeah.
somebody else who's just like manhandling it. Right.
It's like looking at javelin throwers,
Yeah.
where some
They're
of
not
them it's
particularly
like,
beefy people. But
Yeah.
like, javelin's well balanced and everything, and they get it at the right angle.
Mhm.
Wind
They got
speed
muscle
and
where it
Blah
counts.
blah blah. Yeah.
I like that the mechanics of it didn't get in the way of telling the story, so to speak.
The big advantage of the rules light system, yeah.
Until we rolled once, over and
Sure.
over and over.
Yeah, but then, Jason just said
Yeah.
that you don't have to do that if it, it doesn't work, so that would solve that issue.
Mm-hmm.
If the DM is struggling to come up with stuff, because it happens like 6 times in a row, then just,
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fresh. This is the first time I'm doing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's also a very soft consequence of rolling a 1, which is you're just not
Right.
getting as high a
Yeah,
value
roll
of your
the
attack
1.
or damage. I mean, that
Sucks.
it's not like you have to constantly engineer some weird, awful thing every time you roll 1. It's just that sometimes there are opportunities where the scene, like a wrinkle makes sense, feels right, like in a cinematic kind of way. Like, okay,
Like when you
let's
were
do it.
thirsty and had to attack
Right.
a Nazi,
Yeah.
and then you're still thirsty and had to attack one
Let's
of
do
us.
it. Yeah, that feels right. It feels interesting. Yeah.
We went somewhere. With it.
Which is why it's optional in the rules, because you don't want to feel like if you do get a hot streak on the
Compulsion.
wild die, you're just constantly fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, attributes and skills feel okay in terms of like, was there something that was missing that you felt like needed to be there, or because originally a few more skills, but those kind of got sandwiched into each other or whatever, just to keep the skill list shorter, light.
I don't know. I kind of thought there should have been a skill where I could have resisted that instead of just a flat roll.
Like a willpower type thing.
It certainly could have been like a.
Yeah.
In that case, it could have been like wit or spirit if you're trying to rationalize it, or like willpower
So that's what
your way
we-
through it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
compared to a target number that was just a sort of a on the fly kind of
Yeah.
judgment, but that could easily turn into a regular roll where you're just using the higher of the two, right? And sort of narratively explaining how you're trying to resist it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That way it keeps that hard connection to the actual resistance defense.
Right, yeah, and so that way we don't have to add necessarily another skill or something. You're just using the tools that are already there.
Just they happen to both be 1.
No, 1 was 2.
One was 2.
1 was 2. There's always a chance for that 6.
Or 1. Again.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting question, like resisting wrinkles. Like, could somebody throw a buster point out and be like, I don't want that wrinkle to happen?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. That adds another kind of soft.
Yeah,
Counter.
yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. That's eating away at your resource pool, of course, so
Yeah.
it's costing you, but
So if it's like,
Same
I'm
thing.
shooting and it goes, you're out of ammo, you're like, nope, I've got an extra magazine somewhere.
I think that's a fair application of buster points. It does kind of fall into the purview of making a small material change or whatever. Like that
Yep.
didn't happen.
Good thing I have this
It's
blood
just
file
a
on
one.
me.
Yeah. Just
And of course, given
jonesing for some.
given the amount of buster points that you will have during a session, 1 to 3 or 4 or whatever, like you can only do that so many times, and then then
If the ones
the
keep
bad luck
coming.
comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair. That's probably make a note of that. Put that into the poster point usages.
That's a good one to go with, yeah.
So now you'll have character sheet 1.1.
It's gonna have to be
small edit.
It's gonna have to be a completely different thing because I liberally stole a remade Star Wars West End game sheet and like it deleted all the text and fucking added all the stuff.
Perfect. Is it like 3 o'clock this afternoon?
It's like it's not even remote. It was like last night actually.
Was
It's
it?
2 a.m. in the morning. So like we would never be able to use this because that's absolutely I ripped off somebody else's work because I had like 2 or 3 hours. Like I gotta put this sheet together. Fuck. That's why there's so many like.
In progress.
That's why there's literally a giant blank here because in Star Wars you've got those big, lots of skills and then those attributes or whatever. And this I just put on. I was like, okay, well maybe if we come up with more attributes and skills, you just jot them down right here. Great, super. You know.
Yeah, because the more I think about it, the more I like the idea that it would have to cost a buster point and might not actually be a like resistible action. Because the idea is it's a wrinkle that's been introduced. Like,
It's odd when it's very specifically the thirst for blood, which seems like it would be resistible.
yeah, but again, the idea is the
The
wrinkle
assumption-
is you've lost that control.
Yeah, the assumption is that you're resisting all the time, except
Yeah.
at this one moment where it goes over the edge, right?
Like, yeah, the idea is that the wrinkle is like a 1 for D&D. Like, something bad happens. You don't roll a die to prevent something bad from happening because you rolled a die. Just to avoid the idea of, like, throwing more dice to try to solve your problems. Just have it play out. But I do like the idea of the buster point being able to say, no, that doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah.
And that way it's that resources being spent, it is a valuable resource, but it gives you that option to say, yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't want to run out of ammo for the only gun I've got, or the gun I'm really good at using.
Right.
What else happened in the 1650s?
Not much.
Oh,
They hadn't invented the internet yet, so there's not a whole lot going on.
With the Treaty of Hartford, the Dutch and English established the frontier between the colonies in North America.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Not a lot. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see about continuing this next time.